What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 42 of The Pylon Show. A special edition, because that is actually the age of Artosis, so it's kind of a cool little number here that we actually hit.
I think you made that joke before.
And I'll keep making it for the next 100 years of your life, my friend, until we get our moon base. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. We got a very nice episode ahead of us. I want to talk a little bit about our guests. For the 96th time, due to popular demand, we have Mr. Fur Dragon himself here. Fur Dragon 64, of course, all lowercase, and then the 64 is actually in Spanish. So thank you for joining us, Ravi.
Yeah, good to be here. And of course, my name is Fur Dragon because as a brown person, I grow facial hair very quickly. So They affectionately call it fur. Nice.
And as a white person, I can't make any comment, or I'll be fired.
Exactly.
Speaking of color... Holy cow, you guys. Starting off fiery. I like it. All right. We also have... It's been too long. I mean, not even too long. It's been too long to have this have happened, but one of our good friends and awesome community member, Mr. Tempo, thank you for joining us, man.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, yeah. As a weekly viewer, it's nice to be on the big screen myself, it feels good, man.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you, man. We're excited to talk these subjects out with you. And then, of course, it would not be the Pylon Show without the original man, the guy that once, when he played this game at a competitive-ish level, he built a pylon, and he probably should have built a couple more of them, but he didn't. And when he did that, he started history and allowed himself to then become one of the better commentators in all of StarCraft land. It is Artosis. Dan, thank you so much for coming out and being my partner.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. You make me feel so welcome and so happy every week.
That's what I do, my man. Yeah, thank you. If you can't tell, I've been missing the crap out of this content. I know we did it a week ago, did we? Right? Yeah, we haven't missed an episode in a while. Mm-hmm. I just really enjoy this, so thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We got some stuff to talk about as per usual, and I want to kind of roadmap this episode. It's a little bit different. As always, I'm going to start off with this, and you're going to hear it a few times. As always, we have Matcherino, something that supports the show. It's one of the ways we fund this thing. We ask you guys each week to go in, put a code in. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps out the show by filling out a prize pool by interacting with Matcherino. We're actually, due to amazing salesmanship and producing work from Mr. Cobra Venom himself and some others, we have a special thing going on right now through Matcherino. So if you go there, you can see it on the page right now. If you click follow and subscribe for that YouTube, we're doing a special thing with 24 Hour Fitness, which is a gym in the United States. I believe it's just the United States. If you do those two things, you'll get a free week of attending a 24-hour fitness. Right, Cobra? It's just, you just get it.
Yes. Yep. Sign in and you subscribe to the YouTube, follow the Twitter, and you get a free 7-day pass to any of their locations.
So there you go. Any location, as long as you can do it, that's great. And that's cool. But what's perhaps more important to the show is that again, fills out the prize pool for us. So it does contribute to the show directly. But this is an initiative. They're asking to see what kind of interaction we can get with our audience. So now more than ever, it's very important that if you're listening to this, please do us the favor of clicking on those things, interacting with it, and participating so that we can then again turn to more activations and say, hey, the Pylon Show has an audience that engages with us. And if you want to sponsor us or partner with us, our audience will give a damn, and we're able to engage and interact with people. So it's very important that you do that. So if you're listening on YouTube 2, 3, 4 days later, 5 days later, you can still put in the code, which is Team Tempo, one word, and that 0 is the O. So one word, Team Tempo. Follow them on Twitter, subscribe to them on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you the ways you can game that, but you can. So if you're worried about being, stuck on following them on Twitter forever, I hope I don't have to explain to you the ways that you can help us while not committing yourself to something that you don't necessarily want. But at the same time, if you get your butt in the gym for a week or two, and you start your fitness journey, you begin powerlifting, and then you start commentating, and then you can finally take my job away from me and become the co-host on the Pylon Show alongside Artosis. while warming yourself with the cold, dead body of my corpse in the corner of my own condo, probably.
And once again, please, guys, do this. I need him replaced.
He needs a co-host.
If I could do it, man.
Yeah.
Boom.
Tempo might take my spot as well. Everyone's up for grabs. But on a serious note, please do consider it. Like I said, we're going to talk about this a few more times throughout the show. The number we're aiming for is about like 250. And there's always about 500 to 1,000 of you watching. So please take the time to do that. Thank you. We also have
it's very doable. And for the people listening on podcasts, because I know we have a lot of those, matcherino.com/Pylon show.
Yeah.
Do it.
It's in the show notes. Cobra put it in the chat, I believe, or somebody will. But throughout the course of the show, shut me up by doing that, please. And if we can hit that and nail that out of the park, then that's going to go a long ways for us. So thank you very much. We also have, of course, our Patreon, which is doing amazing. You guys are awesome. And like I said, we have people that have been supporting us for the entire year plus of the show, which is just absolutely incredible. We're going to be doing something a little bit different with this that Cobra's going to show you guys. So for the questions, instead of having to go through Discord or posting in the chat futilely, we're going to have you go to our website, and then you're going to click on a link, which Cobra should be able to show you here in a second. So that's the website right there. And then you see that big button at the top that says Patreon/Q&A. You click that, takes you here, you log in, and then you're able to just ask questions. And it's going to cap out your question at 300 words. So we're taking that away from you. we asked for short questions. People were not, some people were fantastic about it. Other people were like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, now you have to. There's actually no other way to do this. So when you post your question here, it'll then get sent to the Discord channel, which you can view, so you can see the questions, but you cannot post in there. So only the bot will be able to do that. Matt and the other wonderful people that maintain this show in the background have set this up. It's really beautiful. It's awesome. It's very streamlined. You don't have to log in, click, doesn't take your money, nothing like that. You can just ask questions there as long as you're a $5 Patreon supporter of the show. And then we actually had a request from somebody that if they could give more money or be a higher tier, could they ask longer questions? The answer is yes. So if you're a $25 or more Patreon person, and we're going to have to set this up, it's not set up just yet, you can then ask as big of a question as you basically want, given the limitations of life. So, I mean, if you actually write a book, we probably will not read that. But if you ask a big essay question, we'll answer it. Okay? So that's going to be...
That'll be a third channel over here on the left.
There you go.
Underneath,
Matt's showing it.
right here, we have Patreon questions. These will be answered this week. We're not going to skip through you guys. And we'll answer the 2 or 3 that were submitted this way. If you submit before the end of the show, we'll try to answer those in this channel right here. Next week, there'll be a third channel underneath here that'll say essay questions. It'll only be available and viewable by those who pay $25. You can only do that for a month if you want to and just submit an essay. Underneath here, we have additional news.
Yeah.
So we're releasing a different VOD release system.
Yeah. Look at
2
Matt.
hours after.
Matt's already taking over the show for me. You son of a bitch. I'm like, okay.
He's been going to 24-hour fitness.
He's been going to 24-hour fitness. He clicked that link. He followed them on Twitter, and he subscribed to their YouTube, and he's just doing it.
This guy.
So Matt's been hard at work. There is now early access to the VODs. It was something that people were asking for. So if you are a $10 or more Patreon supporter, you'll get this VOD. What do you think? 2 hours?
It's
Matt,
actually $5 or more.
$5
or more. 2 or 3 hours afterwards, we're going to send you an email in your inbox from Patreon, and Patreon will push that episode directly to you. There'll also be alert, and we'll ping you like this, as you can see right here. And if you're one of these roles, it'll ding you, and you'll get access to that VOD.
Ding you.
Yeah, it'll like give you an alert on Discord if you want it. If you don't want it, that's about it.
Okay, that's it from Matt. So that is some of the changes that is being instituted right now. It's streamlining the show. It's making it a lot better. But of course, if you're really upset or have any drama, blame Matt at this point in time. I think that was the nice thing about him taking over that segment. It is entirely his fault.
Rotterdam 08.
Yep, exactly right. So that's some of the ways. Of course, we also have AFKT continuing to support the show. They make awesome tea. And I've seen a lot of you guys sending in some pictures of you guys eating and drinking that tea. Well, not eating, but drinking that tea. So thank you very much. And then I'm still working on a couple things that we have coming on in the background to support the show as well. So just thank you guys very, very much. Again, before we get into, and here's the tea. You guys know it, you love it. Thank you so much. Before we get into This Week in StarCraft, I have a very special dramatic reading that I want to make. So let me set this up properly, okay? We all frequent StarCraft 2 Reddit, and I think we all have kind of a special place in our heart for the various different comings and goings of that place. But on one chilly StarCraft 2 night, I was reading through this, and I saw a thread. And the thread said, "Thank you, Tasteless, for making StarCraft 2 accessible." And I thought, that's a really cool way to call Tasteless stupid. It's one of the more clever ways I've ever seen that. So I was very excited to get in there and read this thread. And I was not disappointed. So I want to read this. The other panelists have not seen this. It's one comment, and then it's a few comments in reply to this. But I think it's such a special little moment here. So I'm not going to name names. We're not going to brigade this. I'm not asking you guys to do anything. I'm just reading this. This is story time with Jeff. Okay.
My heart is going like this right now.
No, it's a good one.
My body is so ready right now. Come on.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Serenade me.
And we might make this a thing. It's great. I think it's underestimated how difficult it is to do this. When you know the game really well, the little things, the basic things, tend to become so second nature that they get buried. I think it takes some intelligence to remain rooted in the way Tasteless does while still understanding the game on a high level. He's also really calm during casts and is a great partner to Artosis, who's a little bit like a bulldozer. Tasteless is great at ensuring there is not a fight for dominance between them, and that often he means he takes a more passive role. I've always respected him for that. Artosis doesn't take jokes nearly as well as Tasteless, and he doesn't work nearly as well with other casters. Everyone tends to think of Artosis as the smart or analytical one, but honestly, I've never thought he was that bright. Tasteless went to college and studied multiple subjects. Artosis barely passed high school due to gaming too much. When Artosis tries...
sounds like my biggest fan.
Hang on, there's so much more. When Artosis tries to talk about science or anything academic like history, for example, it really shows through. I'm not sure why someone who has such a poor education considers himself to be so educated. Now, I sound like I'm just talking shit about him. He has done a lot for the scene, and he does have a ton of commitment to the game. He educates himself extensively on all the players and playstyles, etc. All of that certainly shows through, and he's a good caster. It's just that in terms of intelligence, I've always thought that the community underestimates Tasteless. So I read this, and I thought to myself, I was like, that's my boy Dan that this guy's talking about. This is so wild. So I commented, Jesus Christ, the internet, am I right? And then a guy responded, forget the information crap, but the rest of his comment is really well written and thoughtful, especially the not fighting over dominance part. I sometimes wish other casters would take a lesson out of the Tasteless book on this one. And then it gets a little spicy, but my favorite part is you scroll down 2 more comments and there's this guy. The In Control special. Don't make any arguments, just casually dismiss and drown out everyone else. Artosis himself says he is a nerd that isn't smart about most things. He is smart about StarCraft, but the main thing that makes him that way is his extreme nerdiness / passion for StarCraft. Tasteless being smarter than Artosis isn't controversial. Artosis would probably agree. Just like Day9 is smarter than both of them. This guy's post is about that it makes sense for Tasteless to have studied the art of casting the most since he is generally smarter than Artosis. See? We can take other people seriously and find value in their views rather than dismissing them. In a post where he dismisses mine. I mean, it's just like, I read this whole thing and it was just it was like a weird fever dream of everything. When you're wondering what the casters are sitting in the green room, rolling their eyes and laughing about, it's every fucking time we go to StarCraft 2 Reddit and there's people talking about us like they literally were contracted by us to write our biography on our lives. This guy's like, Dan's not smart. He'd tell you that himself. And I'm like, do you fucking know Dan? This kid will tell you. I mean, it was... There you go. That was it. So I just, I thought that, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I already knew I wasn't the smartest human on earth. These guys really put it in perspective for me.
So part of the reason we find this really funny is because like 3 Katowices ago, Tasteless said one of the funniest goddamn like conversation starters I've ever heard in my life, where he was talking about how he was like, when you read StarCraft 2 Reddit, people will be like, I don't like In Control, he's a shitty commentator. Or they'll be like, Artosis, you know, he focuses too much on such and such or something. It's like very StarCraft specific, or it's like kind of scathing. But with Nick, he was like, generally people like me, but they say it in the most passive aggressive and worst ways possible. And he was like, I'll read a thread and someone will be like, Nick's really dumb, but goddamn does he try super hard to commentate well. And it's he's like, he like reads these and he's like, it's not nice. I don't feel good. And somebody will agree and be like, yeah, man, like it's incredible that a guy as dumb as he is doing what he's been doing. And it's like,
he can manage to do it. Like, wow, you know, like how does he do it?
Oh,
that was amazing, Jeff.
Thank you.
That was pretty. Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was great.
Thank you. I never would have read that.
To be fair, guys, before we move on, I can't take all the credit. I want to give a huge shout out to public schooling systems across America, presumably. I think without their lack of grasp of actual education, their ability to kind of produce decent human beings, I think we would be void of comments like this filling up the entire internet. So just, I can't take all the credit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Amen.
That was this week in that was Jeff's This Week in StarCraft. Let's get to the real one, Dan. I might, just for the chat, by the way, I might have to get up and leave real quick for 5 minutes. I'll be right back, but then we'll get on with the show. But Dan,
I don't know if I'm smart enough to do this without you, Jeff.
That's why we have such great notes here for you just to read out, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Are we sure that I can read because I'm uneducated?
That New England public school system too, man. Don't worry.
No good.
Well, my dude.
My God. Okay. This week in StarCraft.
Whoa, Dan, can you stop bulldozing the conversation?
Yeah,
I know, right? Jesus.
Oh, man.
I just don't work as well with you guys as I do with Tasteless. Okay. Onward. This week in StarCraft. Hold on, I gotta claim my XP.
I like how we're like, Dan, go ahead, take this serious now.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'll be right back, actually.
Here we go. Here we go. The Banshee Tournament. It looks like number 17 will be played on March 30th this week. QB won the tournament 3-0 over P7 Gab. Oh, that's actually that is Zest's old ID. Actually, whoever made that, Zest. Pichil Gab. It means like covered in blood in Korean, and Chill is 7. So, yeah. Kind of an interesting idea. Anyways, check it out on Zombie Grub's channel. We have Ladder Heroes, NA and EU, Puck and Winter in NA, Rail and Neeb in EU. Fear Dragon, how is Ladder Heroes going? I know I saw some posts recently about it might not be renewed. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm actually glad you asked because I do want to clarify that. Like, so that message was not intended for like the public, for me to like rally up the public or something and be like, hey guys, everyone get angry because Ladder Heroes might not get renewed. It's just like right now it's still like under discussion, and of course there have been like some parts of the budget. I mean, obviously with like the layoffs and stuff, Blizzard clearly had some budget cuts and stuff, so like it's still under question of whether or not it'll be renewed. But like I'm still super appreciative of all the time that Blizzard has actually sponsored Ladder Heroes. You have to remember, guys, they've been basically sponsoring it for like 2.5 years. So it's already been really great for them to support it for this long. And if it has to take a break for a bit, like I still have all the code for the website and everything. As soon as I actually find like funding again, I can always bring it back. So but it is definitely going to at least go on hiatus after this month. So March is going to be the last month for at least a little bit.
What Fear Dragon is saying is that he's rallying the community. We got everybody pissed off. This cannot be tolerated.
Guys, can everyone please tweet at Rotterdam08, ask him to bring back Ladder Heroes.
I wonder how much shit he gets from us always doing that.
Yeah, right.
All right, well, hopefully you get that sorted out. Ladder Heroes has been around a long time. Check it out, ladderhero.es. All right, the NA Apprentice Tournament. This is a tournament for players that never reached the round of 32 in WCS last year. It is getting right towards the end. It looks like about tomorrow or the next day, the round of 4 and finals are going to occur with Estrella, Cuddlebear, Future, and Game Time. Some really big names in that up-and-coming NA scene. So definitely check that out. I'm actually not sure what channel that's on. Do you
Actually
know?
on my channel.
It's at Fairground. We're going to be casting it.
Damn.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, well.
That's going to
you
be on
guys-
Friday.
Yep.
Anything else you guys want to say about that one? What
It's a
time?
super
maybe?
awesome event, and they actually have a match arena already set up for season 3. So season 3 is basically confirmed. You guys should go check out that match arena as well.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Check that out, everybody. The Psy X Alpha Pro Show Match Series is continuing onwards. Looks like the March 7th match is still to be decided, but we had Top beat Mamba 5-3, and it looks like Sue took down Zest 5-2, still showing that he has what it takes. Check that out over on africatv.com by Swigar and Falcon Paladin. Master Swan Open number 13 occurred. Saliva Nth won 3-0. Look at these IDs. Why don't pro gamers have cool IDs like these? Saliva Nth. We have Xenodactyl down here. Oh, yeah.
What did I get?
All right. Well, congratulations to Saliva Nth. You guys can check out this tournament more on Cranky_Duckling's Twitch channel. And of course, they do have that Bronze to Diamond tournament as well. All right, the TESPA Collegiate Series StarCraft 2 Team Brawl. It looks like Bananalings won the qualifier over Rush DT Blink, which I can only assume Robbie is a member of, or at least
The
inspiring.
owner.
Yeah.
No, I'm the owner of the clan Mass DT, which I ladder on with every game, and then I Mass DT.
Oh,
Why can't pro teams have names like Banana Links is what I want to know. Like, you know?
There's been some pretty bad ones. I don't know if you guys remember KT when they were changing their name up, and they eventually came up with KT Rolster. But there was some names in between the old KT and KT Rolster that weren't as good.
Huh.
It was, what was it called? It was called KT Finger Boom was the name.
Oh my God, I remember that!
Like,
Yeah.
no way, Katie.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Like Perry? Did they put any like celebrities in there too?
Blocked it from
That's what
my
I would have
memory.
done.
Well, Bananalings, congratulations. The regular season starts March 16th and ends May 4th. You can check that out at TESPA.org. The CSL Collegiate Star League spring season is going on right now. You can check that out on Twitch TV /EGZeno. It looks like March 16th, San Diego is going to play Waterloo, while UOC Davis plays University of Texas. So check that out. Last hit tournament series, StarCraft and Brood War LAN. It looks like this is an actual LAN center that is, where was this? Arlington, Texas. That's it. But actually looks like some very good players showed up to it. Hawk, definitely one of the stronger NA players in Brood War, if that is the Brood War bracket. Not 100% sure about that, but very cool to see. If you are around Arlington, Texas, definitely check it out. It looks like these guys are doing God's work down there. All right. The Alpha X Howling StarCraft Open Cup number 6 had some very, very big names playing within it. It was a $125 plus cup. And it looks like Euthermal beat Nurchio at the end of the day. Nurchio taking out some very strong players on the way, which is good because we've been kind of wondering about him on the Pylon show. He's had some rough results lately. But good job there. You can check it out on africatv.com/AlphaXSC2. Wow, they're putting out a lot of content there.
They really have been, yeah. I've noticed,
Yeah.
like the show matches too.
Yeah, quite a bit. I feel like a lot of This Week in StarCraft is just talking about Fear Dragon stuff and then Africa TV sponsored matches. It feels that way quite often. Okay, the SC2 Blazing Series Season 1, the Group D is going to be happening in about 4 days. You can check that out on africatv.com as well. Definitely has a lot of good players in it, and it looks like it is starting to wrap up. The Clash Community Series is back. The 5th event is going on like right now. In fact, it might be over because I think it's like the middle of the night it's like 3 a.m. in Europe. So it should have ended, but I don't have the winner for you. Definitely check that out. Clash and Roddy putting on a lot of great events right now. The next one is going to be on March 20th. All right, the Sentimiento Latino number 45 tournament occurred, and Eric won his 5th in a row, just been absolutely crushing it. It's one of these OSC tournaments, so you can definitely go look at it. In English, it's going to be on Draven's channel. That's twitch.tv/Draven. Olimo League has occurred once again. It looks like the last one, number 148, just finished up with Rogue winning in the finals over Trap. So many big names. I always like to pump this up. A lot of times Maynard does it. Looks like Wardy did the English stream this time. But you want to subscribe to their Patreon. This is the greatest value, of course, next to the Pylon Show, that you can get basically within StarCraft. Just great replay packs and all that.
Replay packs is a big one right there, yo.
By the way,
yeah,
those
names you get in there, man.
those games were so good. That is like something you should either at least catch the VODs, if not go get the Patreon replays. Like that, those were really good games.
Look at it. Trap, Rogue, Solar, Creator, True, Fantasy, Gumiho, Cure. Do I need to keep going? Like that is one replay pack. Oh my God. No matter what race you play, it's like insane games. So definitely check that out. Okay. The Pizza Pie Bi-Weekly. The most important news each and every week. Guys, Eric.
He did it.
One of the more underappreciated players because of the overwhelming dominance of Special Kelliger Cham. Has done it. He's won himself a pizza pie.
His first pizza.
Yeah, he's finally got his name on the board. I mean, there's a lot of people with their name on the board. Once you win 3 pizzas or more, I'll start talking about you a bit more. Yeah. Eric has a ways to go to convince me. But yeah, they mentioned that anyone in the world is welcome to play in the Pizza Pie Bi-Weekly. They can't guarantee getting you a pizza if you don't live in America. That can be a little bit difficult to pull off, but they will try their best. Definitely go to their Matcherino, check it out, and their challenge and all that. Of course, the VODs will be on Colt Taran on Twitch TV. All right, the OSC weekly schedule. Looks like we have a big weekly schedule now. OSC, that's the other thing aside from Fear Dragon, that we have a million things every single week. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you guys. If you want to see it, definitely check out our show notes, of course. Anything that I'm talking about that you want to see, our show notes are linked anywhere that you're viewing or listening to the podcast. And yeah, they have just a ton of tournaments, as always. All right, Pig's Icy Far Challenge. Extremely inefficient weapon. Beat your opponent in the least efficient way possible. There's kind of a funny screenshot here of Pig on, that is 7 bases. With 63 drones and 12 army supply. All right. Well,
looks like some of my earliest games, man. This is
my earliest games never had a second base. That was
no, that's just my friends would always tell me. They were like, all right, you know, they bought me StarCraft 2 and they were just like, more bases, more good, more bases, more good. So I'll just save up my 300, boom, take another base, but I wouldn't have any units.
6 workers.
Send some of those old plays into Pig. Maybe he'll go over them.
Like Wings of Liberty, Steps of War, man.
Well, guys, check that out over on Pig's channel, and you can send your replays of you doing these silly strategies to eonblue95@gmail.com. All right, the OCE-SEA Spring 2019 Challenger Qualifier on April 6th. All the best players in the region going to be playing. I saw some tweets from Maynard. Looks like there's good prize pool involved in everything. Definitely do check that out on the WCS ANZ channel.
Most importantly, including the legendary, the man who beat Maru 2-0, Mio Micah.
Wow.
Dude, I saw that he had an interview about that, but I hadn't gotten to see it yet. I'm excited, though.
Yeah. It was on Reddit, right? Like I clicked the link, but it was like a huge, like a long video. And I don't know if it was timestamped.
Yeah, man, that WESG and these like players beating better players, you know, just these miraculous wins. Isn't that amazing?
Miraculous, man. I mean, but they say that the overall skill level in StarCraft 2 is just getting higher and higher, right? So it's really nice that we're seeing it on like the big stage and whatnot. So props to anyone that can pull something like that off, man.
Indeed. I got to go back and check
despite the odds.
To be fair, I'm like, I haven't seen that series, but I'm 98% sure that Maru's like, I'm gonna proxy Rax this guy every time, and Mio Micah just blindly opens up 13-12 like every game because that's what he does. So I'm pretty sure he just literally died because he was doing that.
Pretty sure that's the right build against Maru, regardless. Like that's
no
what we're doing too. All right. Moving on. The Michigan State Collegiate Invitational is on March 30th. Looks like they have 4 universities throwing up some great players. You can check this out at MSU StarCraft. That is a Twitter link. and they have a Matcherino as well.
I'm most interested in McSwag and Young Jiddle. These are some two people that I've been keeping my eye on. Yeah, Young Jiddle especially.
Young Jiddle,
McSwag right there.
I love it. McSwag and Young Jiddle. I thought you were trolling, and then I went and looked.
There it is.
These IDs, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, no, I got my money on Pierce. Okay.
It's just
I think
Pierce,
that,
No, Pierce is a good name.
Yeah.
Nightmare with a K.
McSwag and Young Jiddle.
Young Jiddle, man. He's gonna take it.
You know what, though? Power to these guys instead of just taking their own fucking name and just adding like an ES at the end of it or some shit. It's so stupid. Anyways.
Well, can you imagine? Because these guys all go to the same university, right? So they go to the PC room and meet up, and someone from across, he walks over, he's like,
yeah,
Hunter Freak? He's like,
Young Jiddle?
Young Jiddle? And they're like, yeah!
Yo, man. Come together, yo. Let me get
I love it. Oh my God. All right, moving on. Sue AMA with Todd and Hadjinson. Looks like Shivo may have helped to put this on, but it was over on Hadjinson's Twitch TV, and lots of questions there for Sue, no doubt. Really great. She's a great translator. And to have the Todd up there, I'm sure that's quite good. Didn't get to see it yet, but looks like there might be some balanced wine there as well. So I'm sure that'll get some
Hopefully.
views. Yeah.
most likely.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, what is this about Cheesadelphia,
Hey,
Mr. Fear Dragon?
I
Mr.
don't
Tom.
know. What is this?
it's your video.
Nice.
Oh, the
video.
video I made.
/Fear
Oh yeah,
Dragon.
Thank you, Robbie. Thank you for coming on, bud.
I got him. I'm the other half. I'm the other half, man.
Exactly.
Pick up the
Oh yeah, I made like a little. I like making. Whenever I go to events, I try and take a bunch of footage, especially like the Cheesadelphias and stuff. And I just like making little vlog videos that are just fun to watch, like 2-3 minutes long. So I made one for Cheesadelphia, and I just took a really long time to release it. So yeah, go check that out.
It was sick.
Still a better love story than that documentary about White Raw, I guess.
Is there a documentary about White Raw?
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's-
Naniwa.
That's the reference, you guys.
Did that come out?
No.
Oh no, I didn't think so.
Dan, you
My
got to read
guys, no,
StarCraft 2
I'm
Reddit more
waiting.
often, man.
It's a sensitive subject, man.
No, I don't got to read it more often, Jeff. You read it. It's very hurtful. I don't want to go there. All right. The StarCraft 2 I Am Katowice replay pack is out. I suggest you don't go to the regular replay pack. Someone did just type in like enhanced replay pack into StarCraft Reddit, and you will be able to find it along with comments about how I am stupid. But it's a fantastically done. Whoever resorted the replay pack, thank you so much. It's like perfectly sorted and just amazing replays. So definitely worth
Done by
your
someone
time.
with great education.
No doubt.
No
I mean,
doubt.
It could be tasteless. I heard he studied multiple things in college.
Multiple subjects in college. he's
Multiple.
studied.
All right. Exclusive StarCraft Soldiers #3 preview shows off a different side to the comic's protagonist. There's a StarCraft comic. Check it out.
It's something like if you put on your resume, like I studied multiple subjects.
Who the fuck says that? Who the fuck says that? It's such a low
college
bar. It's so low. He studied multiple subjects in college. Like, that's everybody, dude. That's fucking everyone.
It's literally a
I
requirement.
think so. My God. Woo! All right. Skipping this next thing, we'll talk about the community update in a couple minutes. Going into this week in Brood War, the Star God J League continues forward. Day 6 and 7 were played. Team 3 defeated Team 2, et cetera, et cetera. You definitely want to check this out on Afrika TV and the YouTube channel.
You been watching it, Dan?
I have not been watching this tournament yet. I have had a very busy, tiring couple of weeks.
Yeah. The names are just
I catch
ridiculous. I was
ridiculous.
just going to ask you about the quality of it, but
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, I heard it's quite good, and there's some interesting ones. Like there's some 2 versus 2s in there as well, like a decent amount of good 2 versus 2 matches. Which I know that 2 versus 2 never really caught on as a thing to watch professionally in StarCraft 2, but it was always really big in Brood War, and I think it's a 2 versus 2 game mode is quite
It's
good in Brood
awesome.
War, so,
yeah.
Nice.
yeah, it's once they get that 2 versus 2 ladder up, Jeff, I swear to God, you and I have to assault the ladder on
Yes, that'd be fun.
that. Yeah, it's a good thing. All right. The ranking is up. I believe that they're moving to an offline finals from this pretty soon. So definitely, I'll try to catch up on this and give us some more info next week on it. But definitely a very fun league full of old names. All right. The BSL is continuing forward. They actually finished all the group stages now. And there's a ridiculous bracket in the top 8. It is DeWalt versus Terror. Trutax against Gorinich, Bonith against Dandy, and Dragon against Nyoka. And this is like almost a complete who's who of who's who in Foreign Brood War. It's just ridiculous. Big cheers, my buddy, and yours, Jeff Nyokin, winning that death, just smashing through. But yeah, there's some just ridiculously strong players in here.
Well, him
so
beating Eon Zerg is huge.
Yeah. The Eon Zerg is, I think, the highest ranked non-Korean on the ladder right now, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a big win. So definitely check out the BSL over on Zero's Twitch channel or his YouTube, Didek or Zero PL. All right. The STPL Shinhan Tank Pro League by Kicks just finished up. Looks like White took out Net Wars in the final. Rapid and Kicks have been commenting that quite a bit, so you can definitely check that out over on his channel. Of course, the KSL, this is going to be your last reminder. If you want to sign up for the qualifiers, the registration is only going on for 6 more days. So definitely do that right away. You can play the qualifiers online until the offline qualifiers. Then you have to be in Korea. So give it a try. It's fun. All right. The Undermine podcast number 14 with Antigua. Also Nightcat and Locutus. They're talking about Diablo 1 re-release, AITT tournament, and all sorts of things like that. Okay. Check that out. The Undermine podcast is mostly about AI development for Brood War.
Look at you self-moderating mid-read.
Yeah,
amazing.
Look at that. I'm good.
Well done.
All right. Under general transmissions, esport.fund offers an impossible ladder challenge. And it's pretty close to impossible. Basically, what it is you have to get on the Korean ladder 2200 MMR, which, all right.
Very high.
And to put this in perspective, I believe that there are about 2 to 3 non-Koreans that high right now. But it's like there's not many that can play at that level. That's ridiculous. Like I can't get 2200. It's really, really high. But then you have to go 11-0. And if you do, first off, it has to be streamed and recorded with a VPN against Koreans. And it has to be all fair play, right? That's why you have to record it all. But yeah, it's $1,000 if anyone can do it. I looked into this, right? So right now on the ladder, I believe Eon Zerg's the highest. But if you went 11-0 against equally skilled opponents on the Korean ladder, you would be higher than he is right now. And that's 11 wins in a row. So it's like, it's a cool challenge, though. I think a lot of the top non-Koreans are going to try for it. I'll be really surprised if anyone's able to win it. And that will be quite a run indeed. So you can check that out.
That's a really cool thing.
Right?
Yeah, no, I like it because it is a ridiculous challenge. Like that is steep. There's so few non-Koreans that can actually play at that level. It's like if you actually go 11-0, right, you get 15 points for an even win. And if you go 11-0 against actual Koreans, even wins from 2200, you're going to be top 150 on the ladder. And to put in perspective how high that would be, that's like better in comparison to the Korean pros than Idra ever was. Oh. And he probably peaked the highest out of all the non-Koreans, except at the very beginning when everyone sucked.
To be fair, though, when Idra was doing it, there was, I would say it was a deeper pool of talent than now. Come on.
I don't know. I actually disagree with you. I think that right now there are more high-level players than there's ever been in Brood War.
No, Tastes would agree with me though, so I guess that's.
But it's gonna say, is that what the deadline is? April 1st? Like it's a.
I can't believe you're saying that. When Greg was playing, there was Challenger, there was B team.
Oh yeah, no,
houses full of pro gamers that were all better.
But the actual skill level of everyone is higher now.
Yeah.
Now that all the pros stream, like everyone knows what to do now. It's pretty crazy.
I know what you're saying. To me, that's like the low tier, mid tier are better. Yes. I would not say the highest tier guys are better than they were back then.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's hard to measure something like that. But anyways, that would be quite a feat if anyone can do that. So Russ Brain is the one that posted. He is a big community guy that does a lot, and
Yeah.
I don't know if he's behind it, but
It looks like there's a
esport.fun
company
did.
called like there's literally a website called esport.fun
Yeah.
that has the details, and it looks like it's just like a cool company that like just funds tournaments and like connects people with sponsors. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, that'll be exciting to see if anyone can pull that off. I think we'll see a lot of top non-Koreans streaming quite a bit against Koreans, and should be fun. All right. This weekend, awesome. We have some bundles from StarCraft that are on sale, I guess. Check it out. Twitch.amazon.com. Okay. Also, the Katowice War Chest is leaving today or tomorrow. So if you want to get all those skins and stuff for their nice cheap price, you got to go do it right away. A lot of stuff on sale within the StarCraft store. This week in awesome, this is hilarious. This kills me, guys. Okay, this next thing.
Mhm.
This is a tweet from everyone's favorite Wax Angel. Okay, so it's a picture of Haas playing at WESG. Haas, only an unimaginative player would allow their play to be constrained by a two-dimensional playing surface. His mouse pad
It is insane to
is
look at that.
outrageously curved. Outrageously. And not just, here's the thing, that's what everyone's looking at. I'm looking a little bit further. You guys only see the trees, I see the forest. He's wearing a big ass watch on his mouse.
Dude, that's
Haas-
a big face right there, man.
Listen, I'm such a Haas advocate. He makes it so hard on me sometimes. Do you think it's easy for me to talk about how he's really good and stuff when he's playing with a fucking curved mouse pad and a big watch on his mouse hand?
It's tough.
Here's the thing, though, Dan. So someone was telling me there's like a poker player that uses the second hand on their watch to sometimes determine their plays or something weird like that.
Oh,
So that's,
yeah,
like,
randomization.
randomized. Maybe
Oh,
that's how
man.
Haas picks his builds.
Well, he should roll a die or flip a coin before the match. Rather
Don't
than
try to defend him, Fear Dragon. This
Yeah,
is
right?
this is like the lowest.
It's like the opposite.
I'm not gonna get
I feel like it's like the opposite of Hitman, right? Where like
love
he doesn't
that-
have to. That's like excessive, right? Having a big ass watch, and then you get like Hitman, who's using like the first keyboard to ever come out when computers were invented.
that was,
Like but that's because maybe he can't. Oh, I got to win this prize pool so that I can afford a better keyboard. But Haas is like balling over here.
yeah.
Like the No Tempo music video has bling like that.
the mouse pad. It literally destroys my mind just looking at that. Like, StarCraft players are supposed to be some of the most picky, like just incredibly, almost OCD about their stuff, and then there's him.
It's like an optical
think-
illusion.
Have you ever
I
had the
think
problem?
that if you, oh sorry, I think if you took Haas and dropped him out of an airplane while playing StarCraft against another pro, dropped out of an airplane playing StarCraft, he would win that.
Yeah. No, you
So-
could submerge him underwater and be like, you have to cannon rush 3 players on the ladder and successfully win 2 of those games to come out of the water, and he'd do it.
Yeah. That's how your mouse pad would look if you got out. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually went to God. I went to school for multiple subjects, and one of those subjects was math. So
Did
if
you study
actually
multiple
have a
subjects?
3D multiple subjects.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah.
So if you have a 3D surface and it's curved, you're actually going to have more surface area.
Yeah.
So if you ever had a situation where, like, at a tournament, the table isn't large enough and you run out of space and your mouse goes off the thing, if you curve your mouse pad, you have more surface area to utilize. So he's actually just solving a problem.
Yeah.
If you just play on a globe, just wrap your mouse pad
That's
around
true.
that.
You guys
would
ever
never
watched the
do-
movie The Fountain?
I've not, no.
No.
Yeah. If you do, I think that's the opposite of Has.
Me
The whole movie.
Well, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, you gotta check it out.
too.
It's probably boring though if it's the opposite of
It's a
Haas.
little bit. Yeah. My God.
Anyways, that's this week in StarCraft.
Thank you, Wax Angel.
What a week.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. My stomach kind of hurts from so much laughter at the beginning of the show.
Dude, me
It's been
too, a little
it's
bit.
been good.
Yeah.
We do have some pretty serious subjects to cover as well, but we're going to get into the main topics right now as soon as I... Oh, okay, we're going to start off with this one. Sure. So one of the big storylines, and I'm going to kind of introduce this and we're going to talk about it, but this takes a little bit of care. So WESG is going on right now. there's a lot of storylines obviously coming out of that, but one of the kind of big ones, it's on StarCraft 2 Reddit, it's on Twitter, the commentators are talking about it, the community's talking about it, so it's just a big topic in general, is the WESG match fixing accusation, is what I would say at this point in time. And the very important way to talk about this is a talk show, this is a information show. So it's very important that we don't ignore topics. We've gone kind of all over the place on this stuff, but we also have to treat them with care. So as of right now, nobody has been found guilty. No one's admitted to being a part of this. It's a lot of circumstantial evidence. There's a lot of opinions flying around, and we're going to talk about that. But even talking about it has some strength and power to it that can be used very negatively. So it's extremely important that people hear me when I say this is news, but it is not confirmed. There is nobody that is coming forth and saying that this is something that they've done, and there's no punishments being issued. It may or may not happen in the future, but it is an interesting part of StarCraft because obviously we've had very, very big names. We've had very big moments in our history deal with match fixing and with that kind of a thing. So I think I'll turn it over. It sounds like Artosis has done more research on this than I have, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there. And it's very important, too, that people understand that you have to talk about this with a certain amount of respect. So if someone believes it to be true or if they have an opinion on it, I don't really want to look over at the chat and see someone yelling obscenities or being really mad. We'll have the moderators ban you. It's not the way we do things in general. But this is a subject that a lot of people get very heated about, which doesn't mean we ignore it. It just means that we handle it with care. So please tread maturely and move forward with this kind of a thing, trying to be a decent human being. That being said, Dan, why don't you talk a little bit about what's going on with this subject?
Okay, so first off, what Jeff just said, times a million. This is someone's livelihood. This is someone's life. Mexed has been a professional gamer for a long time. He's the person in question at the moment. And you cannot, no matter how much you think you have to wait for official investigations to occur, don't jump the gun because it is so incredibly bad if he's falsely accused. And obviously, if he did it, that's incredibly bad as well. So it's seriously a big deal for the entire industry, and especially this man, who's was a Warcraft 3 pro and has been a StarCraft 2 pro literally since day one. So this was posted by a guy that bets on matches, and basically what it comes down to is Mexed against a
70.
player called 7091. Who is, I guess he's maybe the weakest player of the tournament overall. He's like something like 4,000 MMR diamond. Mexed is generally top 80-ish or so on the Korean ladder, which would be over 6K generally. It was a Protoss versus Protoss match. Mexed expected to win 2-0, lost one game. The second game is what he ended up losing. And what the person who posted this claims is that the betting line moved substantially a couple hours before. Now, this is something that I want to make this really clear, right? Because this is one way that you can find out about betting fixing is if things move abnormally, because all betting is a bunch of statistics done together. Anyone who's taken a bunch of college classes can probably confirm that for me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that they can get to the bottom of this, but that's basically where we're at, is that he, like, the bet was for will he lose any maps to this guy, and then he did end up losing a map after the odds on that specific bet shifted greatly, supposedly. So we don't have any sort of official word or anything like that at the moment. The game, you can find a VOD of the game. I watched the VOD of the game. I mean, you can watch it yourself and come up with whatever opinions you want. From my watching the game, it's one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. It is really bad.
Pretty bad. It is, yeah.
It's a pretty bad game. It involves 3 proxy gate Zealot against a cannon rush. So, okay, that's kind of a summary of what it is.
Yep. So let's start with our panelists. Ravi, did you take a look at this at all? And what are your thoughts?
I did. And I'm so glad that the whole opening that you talked about, Jeff, is like the biggest thing
So
that
important.
talk about, which is just let's like be careful about how it's talked about, and kind of just the same thing that Dan was saying, like this is someone's livelihood.
Mhm.
And yeah, but in terms of watching the game, it definitely looks like a little bit silly. Was like a cannon rush where he doesn't cancel a bunch of the cannons, and like he's throwing down a cannon in front of a zealot that like kills it within like 4 seconds, and there's no cancel on that. So there's like a bunch of at least like weird looking things going on, and we don't really know the reason why all that stuff was happening. Like for all we know, I don't know if anyone's even talked to Maxed about this yet. I'm sure someone has, but I don't know if anything public has been said. For all we know, like right before this, he got a call, like a close family member like passed away like 5 minutes before the match, and he was just totally distraught and completely out of it, and then like pulled it together in game 2. Like we don't know, but
I think he
the
might have
game
been borrowing Haas's mouse pad though too, like for that one game. And if anything, like that's tough, man.
yeah.
He's not used to it. He's not on that same level as Haas,
So there's a couple things to be said about this. First and foremost, like it is all circumstantial. We've kind of got that out of the way, but I will tell you, it looks bad. It looks really bad. Like
doesn't
for
look
people
good.
that aren't of this level, let me just lay it out to you. If you're 6,000 MMR on Korea, can you have a bad game? Absolutely. Is it possible to lose a game to a lower level player? Yes. But 4,000 MMR Diamond to lose a tournament offline game to Max said, again, there's going to be people who are like, that's possible. It is. It is absolutely possible. It is extremely unlikely. It is, as a guy that once every 3 days hits parting, who that's about the difference, and I'm not a 4,000 MR Protoss. I'm a 53, 5,400 MR Protoss, but he's like a 64, 6,500 MR Protoss. There's nothing I can do. It feels so futile. It feels really bad. And I'm leagues above 4,000 MMR Diamond, like I said. So, like I said, it's StarCraft, and this is something that's actually annoyed me since day one of even Brood War. There's never, with our stuff, you never, like if you find someone doing something dirty or whatever, it's almost never conclusive and 100%. It just isn't. You'd have to take the stupidest hackers on planet Earth, which thankfully there have been thousands of them. And that's how you get caught doing something really, really stupid, or the match fixing shit that we had in Korea. Those people got turned in. There was confessions. Like once that happens, that's how you find it. But just like a really good player losing a map to somebody, you can make every excuse in the book. So that's what makes this conversation a little bit hard and tough. Is for some people, you will never have the slip. Like there's not going to be an email from somebody to Max said that's like, drop this game and you'll get this money. It probably will never come forward. So all we have is our circumstantial shit and our evidence.
Mhm.
The fact that it was just to lose one map in a series against this guy and then still win it as well, I can very easily rationalize as a victimless crime, right? Like that is not a problem at all. That doesn't affect anything. It's just some people exchanging hands and winning money. The problem and the danger with that is that is a slippery slope. If you start accepting money to drop a map here, what's to say you don't start accepting more money to drop a series against somebody that you're not likely to do, or vice versa, or you start roping in other people like we did have in Korea. That's what happened with Yoda and some of these other players. They start being like, hey, I know a guy who says that if you drop that series tomorrow, this guy will pay you more than you would have got anyways, or whatever. So that's where it gets really insidious and really bad. I can fully believe that is what happened here. And I don't know Max said, I just know StarCraft, and I know that this stuff does happen. So that is the scary, bad world we live in. I think what's horrifying about this is that very often our players are young people that don't understand the ramifications of this. Like if he got paid $400 to drop one map to a Serbian player that he would never lose to in a million years, again, he might look at that and be like, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. It doesn't affect anything. My placing, his placing, none of it was impacted whatsoever. It's that to other people, this is the sin in StarCraft. If you start doing that, it delegitimizes results. It starts to become a slippery slope. It gets really, really bad. So I hope Max said didn't, and it just got weird. I hope that that's what happened, but it's important that you guys understand. While I'm not saying that this did happen, I'm telling you it looks really bad.
Yeah.
It looks bad.
No, I agree in that sense, right? Like just the whole idea of a player not really seeing just how big of a deal it could be, especially when there's been in the past, right? Where it is, arguably caused, what was it, just back with the Pro League and everything, right? Like that whole wave of it to maybe go down a bit, but I don't know. It's one of those things where every time I view it, you look at the actual facts and everything that did happen, and it looked pretty bad, like you're saying. But like I always have that, glass half full thing and saying like maybe he just really had a bad day, but realistically, I think with the whole situation with the guy being replaced to, hopefully that doesn't go deeper than that or anything like that.
And I find the defense is really weak too. That's the part that I would trouble. Like, there's some of the chats like the guy that said this is the guy that lost money. Is that a conflict of interest? Why?
Oh, right, yeah.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Like, he brings forward the evidence. He talks about sure, he's the guy that's sour about it. So he's the guy that noticed it. But why, what of what he has said is tainted with his opinion?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like, that's the part that's really problematic. And this will get looked at.
I think that what has to happen here is probably the site itself has to look into it, because obviously no betting site would want that to occur.
No,
because there's like stuff that you can look at. They can detect abnormalities in bets very easily. I've heard that in the past, and that's how some people have been caught in the past. And I mean, I'm sure that things can be looked at by like Blizzard or something like that. But I would basically just trust those people. Like, everyone wants to get to the bottom of it, honestly. And yeah, it's just everyone be very careful on pointing fingers and stuff, because it's like, I mean, shit can go wrong. You can play a terrible game. Anyone who hasn't been like a pro gamer and hasn't played StarCraft for hours and hours and hours every day, you might not quite have a full view of the amount of things that can go wrong. And like, sometimes you'll play someone, I mean, if I get someone 400 MMR lower than me on StarCraft, I can't even move my mouse because it's so boring, right? Because the player's so bad. Stuff like that occurs, right? It's like, I mean, he might have just like slacked off or something, be like, oh my God,
like 3K.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously everyone has an opinion about this and what it must be, and but let the officials do their job here.
Yeah,
I would say.
I mean,
that's the main
we'll probably
thing.
never actually know for sure unless they get fucked up and and they admit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also just the nature of online gaming. The problem with this kind of thing is because it does look so fishy and bad, Max said it's going to be watched with a, it's going to be ridiculous from here on out. So hopefully he's smart enough to know, if you did do it, maybe you got away with it. Don't ever do it again, because there's people who like literally when this kind of thing happens, they're like, well, it's March. I guess I'll give myself until October to just kind of watch everything this guy does for the rest of his life. And it's like, there's people who will do that. So just be very careful.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, the worst thing that could happen would be for a bunch of people to like kind of slander his name and have it actually not be true. And then even when that comes out and it's not true, just the damage of that, not only from the time period of the discovery that it wasn't true and that time, like the damage is like can ruin your reputation just by that, because there are people that might never even hear the actual result of the investigation if there was to be one, and then you're gonna have that like this guy,
it's so true. Like, most people will hear about it right now. If he, like, especially if he's exonerated, this will be the moment. Like, it's already occurred where most people have already heard about it, so most people will probably just assume forever that that's the type of player he is and stuff.
I don't have, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of sympathy for that. Like, it obviously when it happens to you, you feel differently about it, but like, the alternative is what? This kind of thing happens and everyone just assumes everyone's innocent and good and don't talk about it?
Well, I mean, we're all Americans here, right? You're innocent until proven guilty, but it's just,
in the media too,
it sucks real bad if you're innocent here and you're being accused.
But that's what I'm saying, is like, that's actually...
But with the actual,
That's the nature of the beast. And I'm not saying that that's okay or good. If I was God and I recreated the world, I wouldn't have this as part of how it is. But that is how it is, right? Like,
truth.
If something like this happens and someone accuses you of something, the damage is already done to a certain extent. And the alternative is, again, impossible, right? It would be that nobody ever accuses anyone of anything unless there's 100% proof, which just doesn't happen.
Never
so
happen. Yeah, will never happen.
I understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not sitting here being like, no, burn the man. I'm saying it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
All we can do is ask people to be as mature as possible, and that's going to. There's some people who'll hear that and hopefully act on it, and then there's a bunch of people like, no,
True.
I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But yeah, that's the news, and like we said, there is not an end to this story. We don't have a like, and that's why he's a cheater, and that's why he's not a cheater. We don't know. So this is a developing thing, but it's important that on a StarCraft 2 talk show, we do talk about our very scary, very bad, and our history with this being something that affects players. And it's not just StarCraft; it's happened in other games as well. But I do not prescribe to the belief that we, if something bad happens, you never talk about it and you ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. I think that's a really bad.
You have to, it needs to be stated. Like I don't feel super comfortable talking about this type of thing, but it's the Pylon show, so we must.
Yep, exactly. I agree. So keep your eye on that, and if it does develop, and if there is anything more, we'll report on it, of course. Yeah. And
next week we will give an update. I have a big feeling that there will be one by next week. So
hopefully, one way or the other.
Yeah.
What is our next topic, Mr. Cobra?
I think it's just
Cheeseadelphia.
In general, maybe.
It's Cheeseadelphia, my man. News and updates.
Oh. All right. Well,
we just happen to have two very Cheeseadelphia people here.
It's beautiful. Oh man, so Ravi.
Guys, what's coming out? They've said some dates. There's some stuff happening. What's going on?
All right, so on 4/20, a very iconic date in the history of our calendar, we are going to be having our next Cheeseadelphia event, which is going to be the start of the minors, actually, which I'm not sure if the other events are going to be in other different cities. Last year, we had 3 events, I believe. One was in Philly, one was in Chicago, and then we did the finals right in DC. So we announced about maybe it was a month or 2 ago that there's going to be another circuit pretty much this year with about, is it 7 events, Ravi, or
5 is what I saw.
5, yeah, 5 events. Okay, so there'll be 5 events, so we're up in it, yeah. And this is a minor, so it's going to be a 1-day event rather than the usual 2-day.
Yeah, there's like minors, there's going to be majors, which are like the traditional Cheeseadelphias that you saw. The minors, for those who have followed Cheeseadelphia, are basically like the 0.5s, but they're not calling them 0.5s anymore. So those are more like local, slightly smaller prize pool and stuff, but still pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm just enjoying the fact I didn't realize it was going to be on 4/20, but I just realized that we're going to have a grassroots event on 4/20. That's great.
Hot damn.
Oh, damn it, Ravi. These are awesome events. We've talked a little bit about this in the past. What I think is so cool about this is very oftentimes with grassroots or like, kind of smaller ran events, there's the story of the one that didn't, the internet went down or it didn't quite happen or people didn't get what they paid for. Cheeseadelphia has delivered every freaking time. And I've never heard anyone attend this and then come back and been like, it was okay. Everyone's just like, no, it was baller as shit. So if you're in the area, please go support this kind of a thing, because this also could be kind of the future of StarCraft. Like if we don't, not to get like a strangely end of the world type of thing here, but like putting on events like this, attending a LAN and meeting like-minded people and competing is so fun. It's incredible. And it's something that's always been near and dear to StarCraft. So the fact that these guys are pretty much some of the only people really putting this on and doing that, I hope people locally go, but damn it, travel to it too. If you
right.
Even if it's just 1 or 2 of these, like if you're like, wow, it ends up on a weekend I can go to, you're not guaranteed other opportunities to do this kind of thing. So get out there and do it.
Indeed. I highly encourage it though. Like it's been pretty much every single one that I've been to, I think since like the second one, the amount of people that I've met and just had come back to me and say like, yo, that was actually my first StarCraft event. I never had a chance to go to MLG. By the time I started playing SE2, those events were done. And I think maybe the only things going on were like the big ones, whether it was like the WCS, which was relatively new, first of all. And then say even Red Bull, if you were going to go back that far, if anything. And a lot of them tended to be on like the East Coast. And I know this is a lot of East Coast stuff, but I believe this one with the circuit, the last one is actually going to be, where is it? I know it's somewhere either in the Midwest or the
Denver
West.
or something.
Denver, yeah. So it's going to be in Colorado as well.
Yeah. They're never going like fully West Coast, but there's definitely going to be some that are going to be like Midwest-ish and stuff. So it's
yeah.
Gonna be,
oh my God.
Trying to let everybody get a piece of that. Yeah.
Huh?
That what?
Yeah.
You guys did chair
Tempo
races?
and Puck were chair
Yo,
racing.
yeah, man. I lost though, man. I don't want to talk about that. That actually gets me kind of sensitive. Man. I went in there with so much confidence, and Puck, I didn't realize not only does he practice Protoss and like almost gets top 2.
See, okay, I just watched this. We just replayed the video again, and the thing
Did you
is,
see it?
Temple, you started going slanting sideways a little bit.
Yeah,
Puck
it's
They
bad
gave me the
strategy.
bootleg chair, man. They gave me the bootleg chair, man.
Well, he's going straight. He's keeping his legs in a straight line. You just kind of turned a bit. You can't run sideways as quickly as someone can run forward. You do the rematch this time.
I will, but I'm gonna pick my own chair this time, man, because they gave me that chair. You know?
Can't use such a crooked strategy there.
I swear, man, I can't deal with it.
But yeah, for Cheesadelphia, I just want to say, like, kind of to echo sort of what Tempo and also Jeff were saying, this event is actually like, Blizzard, please still, if you decide to hire me for BlizzCon, please still hire me for BlizzCon. I would, if Cheesadelphia were realistically scheduled at the same time as BlizzCon, I would actually like be thinking about like, I kind of really want to go to Cheesadelphia. This is actually the most fun event for me that I get to attend. This is where it's not just about like, oh, let's go hang out with like a bunch of the super tuber top level pro players. When you get a chance, if you're a fan, like when they're not, I guess, like in the player booth or playing games and stuff, it's like, no, you actually just get to hang out with people. This is like the StarCraft community event, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love this event.
Great.
I got to do
Watching this video makes me super jelly. Like this is what I grew up
Dan.
on. It looks so much fun.
Dan has some Connecticut tournaments that he flew in nerds to, and he had them at their house, and we did, they did the LAN thing. I attended some Lone Star clashes a few years ago that had that kind of feel as well out of Texas.
Yeah, Lone Star, I remember that too.
Really great events. It's just it's such a good feeling. Like I'm telling you, man. And I know a lot of people hear this and they're like, I can't go, and I get it. But take a look at these events. Take a look at the dates. Save up some money. Get some time off of work. Do it, because if the day ever comes where you never went to a LAN, or you never, and specifically an RTS LAN, man, these are the best nerds in the whole damn world.
Yeah.
If you don't go, if you never experienced that, you never took the time, you never took it serious, you're missing out, man. It's really bad. It's kind of like, not going to college and studying multiple subjects. It's like,
I mean, not even to mention the players that come too. Like, this ain't just we get the biggest range where anybody from like gold will come through just for the experience. But then, having the finals with like Major and Future, and watching Future beat Major live or Special live, just like that, and being a part of that is just something that you can't ignore. But obviously, like, it's just I get like this barrage of feelings every time.
I know.
I think about it again. Like,
so
Side
good.
shout out, by the way.
when M. Canning beat
oh god, when M. Canning beat Neeb,
legit,
that was
like
so good.
these are like so like great games. So yeah.
Side shout out, by the way, to like, for example, I know earlier on in This Week in StarCraft, we were talking about the last hit tournament, like the Arlington, Texas Brood War thing. Like there, wherever you live, like there are actually things going on. The WESG USA finals happen in California and stuff. There's stuff on the West Coast, there's stuff on the East Coast, stuff in the Midwest. If you're not in America, I don't know where the stuff is, but it's there.
Nice.
What if you're in Korea? Is it there still?
I mean, there might be like a tournament or something, but I don't know, man.
What about Africa, Ravi? What's going on there?
Well, in
my home village
at the Africa TV.
Africa TV.
No, Ravi, that's in Korea. Okay,
What?
so
Pretty sure it's in the name, Dan.
Well played. So the next topic is a little bit related to this, just generally the kind of growth in the StarCraft 2 community. And I think that's part of the reason why we're able to see things like a Cheesadelphia expand to a 5-event circuit almost. A lot of streams have been blowing up. We've had Neuro on here quite a bit. There's a lot of just the viewership in StarCraft's been doing very well. We also got the numbers back, of course, on Katowice. It's 50-60% better than it was even a year ago, where it did very well as well. So it's kind of funny because, again, one of the things we talked about, maybe it was last week on the Pylon Show, or maybe it was just in private, the casters, sometimes that blurs together for me, but like, if you take away that culling we had at Blizzard and these terrible feels that kind of came from that, last year into this year, it's been nothing but soaring and fantastic and really just good feels about StarCraft in general. Like, streaming is doing well, tournaments are doing well. The competition and foreigner scene is doing well. Koreans are striking back. Like, the balance of the game is pretty good. I know that we've been talking a lot about poor Terrans lately, and we'll talk about balance in a little bit, but like, the game is just in a fantastic place. So I'm not sure who put this topic down, but that was something we wanted to kind of give a little nod to. So what about for you guys? Where have you seen the growth in StarCraft and the feels there?
Well, like, just overall watching the viewership go up has been like extremely nice over this time, and kind of seeing people. It's funny, right? Because the main StarCraft community, we're always here watching it and stuff, and as it's growing, everyone's attitude in a way gets better, which is, I think that's kind of the nice little side effect of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels good that it's growing once again, because I mean, we all know that this is like the best game. You gotta watch this if you want to have fun. And it's interesting because I think the shows themselves have become much better. The game is in the best place it's ever been. We've got great developed storylines right now. You know, I wonder, like, parts of this are probably due to how big battle royales are and just how much they're growing Twitch. It's like just the amount of eyeballs that go there. Some amount are going to be people that want something like StarCraft and then come over. Maybe people are getting sick of some of these other esports that just really, really suck, that publishers just pay to make esports. And, like, you know, I'm not... I think there's like a bunch of reasons and everything, but it's a very pleasant thing to have happening right now after we had the years of decline in the middle there.
Yeah. I like the comment about attitude because it's actually been so true. Like, I almost always hate bringing this up, but it is actually, like, for me, a like touch. You can feel this impact. The dead game meme that was, like, I don't know, 2014 through like 16 or whatever. It was just, everyone was obsessed with it. Like, every time, you know, you were streaming, they're like, what are you gonna do after this game dies? It was just like this terrible, dark, bad feeling. It's almost completely gone, man. Only, like, I feel like only when I mention it does anyone even say it anymore. But, like, it's one of the ways I can tell. I'm like, wow, people feel really good about this game, and it's been it's going in the right direction, which is so weird for a game that I think in April turns 9. You know, it's insane.
Right?
Yeah, and
it's actually insane. Yeah,
I do have to mention, as the resident Brood War guy too, like, Brood War right now it's like in a growth phase in Korea. It's doing so well. The studio fills up all the time. The streamers are doing very well for themselves. The views are out of control. It's one of the biggest esports in the world at the moment as well, and that's just based off of Korea. And it has a foreign fan base for sure, but I don't know. It's just, damn, that's cool.
But it's nice to me because, like, as someone who didn't even get to really watch, or I would say got into StarCraft 2, like when StarCraft 2 came, like I got into StarCraft in general when StarCraft 2 came out, and the people that got me into it were big Brood War heads too, right? So they would play Brood War. They were watching all the esports, and, like, you know, Jaedong is like my friend's favorite, and I never got to really experience it. So, like, being able to watch like ASL and stuff, is even someone like me who still is mainly an SE2 can still appreciate it, even though I've never really like played it besides like the campaign and maybe just a few games here and there. It's like really nice to actually see these like names and have it be in this kind of production that is accessible, so easily accessible. Like that, to me, it's really, really awesome.
That's actually a really good point too, because I think that this is something that StarCraft 2 was a hindrance to StarCraft 2 for a bit. And I remember talking with a lot of the big people, like organizers and people that really know behind the scenes and really work on esports years and years ago, where everyone was kind of getting frustrated because, like, Idra retired, Huck retired, Stefano was gone, right? And there was a big feeling that you need your big names to help carry the views, because they actually do peak views. Like, when you get the, for instance, when Scarlet plays, the views go up straight up. Always. Everyone wants to watch Scarlet play, right? And we have certain players like that. So that was a very frustrating thing for a lot of people. We're like, damn, we need another Idra. It's like, but that was also the era where the fruition of hard work came, right? And we had people like Cyril rise up, and it takes time for them to go from being someone that only practiced to getting a little bit more personality within an interview and things like that. But we're actually in this funny place right now that I feel like is in between old StarCraft and Warcraft 3, right? Because Warcraft 3, you'd look at a tournament, you'd be like, okay, these 4 players will get top 4, one of them will win. These next 4 players are top 8, and the rest are all in this round of 16. And it would always be the same group of pros getting the same ranks approximately. That was what Warcraft 3 pro gaming was for a long time, whereas StarCraft would like rotate. It'd be like, okay, for a year, this guy's doing really well, and then he goes down. The next people come up, right? But we're in this place now where we definitely have up-and-comers, but now no one really retires anymore. Like, even the people that go to the military now are coming out of the military and just returning to pro gaming in StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. I mean, we have people retiring, coming back into StarCraft 2 in the foreign scene as well. It's I don't even understand how we got to this point. Like, I think that maybe everyone got so good now that it's like, okay, yeah, you can kind of pick this back up. You understand the game well enough, and your mechanics got to such a peak that you can come back. But that is, I feel like that is definitely helping. Where now, MC was in GSL. Okay, do I need to say more? Like,
I mean, there is some credit to be given, obviously, and there's never enough time to even do all that. But a huge shout out to the StarCraft 2 dev team. My God, like the choice to go free to play was fucking incredible. Implementing the war chest, it was like it's a bunch of things that people have been asking for, and they put in the hard work and made it happen. And it's been incredible. Like the skins in this game, the different profile features, that kind of stuff. The willingness to host summits and pool together a bunch of StarCraft-minded people and be humble enough to take on their ideas and to work on that kind of stuff. That's amazing. So it's just truly a really good feel. So hopefully we continue to have these things kind of roll out so we can continue to feel really excited about StarCraft. I can tell you without naming names and stuff like that on the Blizzard side of things, they're still reeling a little bit from what happened, a couple months ago at this point in time, and once they kind of get their feet underneath them, I think we'll be able to get back to being super excited about WCS and stuff like that. Like we had a great Katowice WCS winter is picking up again here in a couple weeks, and I think the feel goods are gonna like saturate us. There's a lot of StarCraft coming up. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that was that whole topic, and it's just been fun. It's a nice thing to touch on, but. The next topic, we're going to move into kind of the roundtable stuff. One of the reasons why we asked Mr. Fear Dragon here to come back on the show is he recently had, kind of speaking to StarCraft doing really well. He made a life choice to switch to some full-time StarCraft for the time being. And Ravi, would just like to hear an update from you and kind of how that's going, your thoughts. Is it tough? Is it easy? Is it bad? I mean, what are you doing?
It's all of the above.
Yeah.
So to clarify what you meant by like for the time being and stuff, it's so right now I guess like 2.5 weeks ago I quit my job as a full-time software developer in San Francisco. I'm still living in San Francisco, and because of that, there's a heavy cost for rent. Not to give exact numbers, but let me just say that most apartments in San Francisco for like a 1-bedroom will be somewhere between $2,500 to like 3,500 maybe.
I'm complaining about
mine.
In that
he means
general
a cheap one. That's a cheap one. Like
yeah.
It's not that price range. It's $2,500 to like $1 million. But yeah.
So it's definitely not something I'm expecting to be able to like actually just sustain myself on any time in the immediate future and stuff. But it's something that I really want. It's just like been a good time. I hit like stock cliff and stuff with my company and everything, so it was like a good time for me to quit and just like take a bit of time. I want to just see what the full-time life is like a little bit, and the idea for me right now is I have like a budget for like the next, I can go further if I want to, but I have a bunch of money set aside for like the next 3 months. I just want to see how much I can grow with my channel, as well as also just like up my commentary game, all that kind of stuff. So it's been really good. I've been streaming about like 6 days a week. That's been really interesting. So going back to what you were asking about, Jeff, is it easy or hard? It's different. It's because I'm used to saying like, okay, get up at like 6 or 7, put in my 8 to like 10 hours at work, then take like a 30-minute break, watch like some random TV show, and then like start my esports workday. And now it's like I have a lot more time to just do esports. But like, for example, I'm not used to playing StarCraft for 7 hours.
Yeah.
That's like
a little different, huh?
Really difficult. You put me into cast for 12 hours. I mean, I've cast a best of 69 with tempo. I can confirm we cast a best of 69 for 14 hours, and we both said, that kind of went short.
Right.
But like playing StarCraft for like over 4 hours is just like, oh my God, my brain just goes through so many emotions during that. So it's like it's different. And also trying to find ways to use, there's like multiple objectives here, so it does complicate things for me. Because if it was just like, I am just trying to be a streamer
only,
I could be like, okay, cool. All of my time and effort and focus is going into improving my stream, monetizing my stream, making this work. But I'm also like, I also want to develop as a commentator.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a bunch of this stuff for my stream, but I'm also going to spend a bunch of time that's not going to see any monetary benefit pretty much whatsoever, but I'm going to be working on my elocution and all these other kind of things, or like researching and doing like one thing I've really wanted to do for a long time, but I haven't been able to justify is I'm just straight up asking every single player that's playing in WCS Winter, like, hey, can you hop on a call with me? Because I just want to talk to you about your group, like WCS Winter. I just want to talk to you about how you're doing and all that. Being able to do that kind of stuff, but it's a really mixed bag of like how effective it's been. But the nicest thing is I've been able to go to the gym every single day, which feels fucking
Nice.
24 hours a day, 7 days.
I've been using my apartment gym with actually, because I also learned about the whole like Pylon Show Matcherino stuff with 24-hour fitness. I'm gonna jump on that. There's one not too far from me.
How would you get yourself a 1 week free pass to a gym like that?
How could you do something?
How could you even do that?
I will have to think about that.
You don't have to think about it, Robbie.
You don't.
No,
yeah, I don't.
You don't have to think about it.
It's that easy. Are you saying that actually when you did the earlier part of the show, I've already done it and I already have my 7 days?
You have already
free
done it.
trial?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
for those of
actually
you at home that haven't done this, because I know that of the hundreds of you that are watching, some of you are like, can't be bothered. I'm going to ask you to be bothered. Do it. If not for the Pylon Show, do it for that 6-pack abs that are waiting beneath 2 or 3, maybe even 4 layers of fat. Now listen, I like lasagna like everybody else, but if you get yourself in the gym for 7 days in a row by clicking the follow on Twitter button and subscribing to their YouTube and attending 7 days of at the gym, I actually promise, guaranteed results, 6-pack abs, rippling biceps, and probably an enlarged sexual organ. I think that's something that we can move to saying is guaranteed at this point in time. Okay? But you'll never know unless you do it. So make sure
you can turn that lasagna into that. Like you can still enjoy the lasagna.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most important part.
It's a huge part.
You don't have to give it up. No, absolutely not. I mean, to look at yourself in the mirror and just say, you know what? Yeah, when Jeff told me that, I really did believe in myself. And you take that motivation, okay? And you click that button and you hit up that gym. You hear me, man? And then I believe in those 7 days, when you come back to that Twitch chat and you look Jeff in the eyes, well, at least his name in chat, you say, thank you, Jeff. It wasn't for you. I didn't have these 6-pack abs.
You can't conclusively tell me where the lasagna goes, you guys. And if I'm telling you that it goes in those places, then you'll have to risk it.
I know.
Robbie, that's good to hear, man. I like the perspective, though, on it is hard to stream StarCraft for a long time, because I actually think it's one of the, I mean, we all know it's the best game in the world, but it's also one of the absolute hardest to do in that way, especially to kind of shift gears. Like if you're a professional player, like I was back in the day, it's actually pretty easy to put in 10 hours because you're like building towards a goal. But when you're just streaming and playing and you lose your 7th game in a row, and you're like, well, not only do I have to stay positive, but I also need to get in there and play another game because, it's tough.
You don't have to stay positive, but
that's true. It helps that I'm literally every single game, I am going for nonstop mass Dark Templars and base trading with them. It really does help lighten the mood because the number of times I've lost, literally been at 200 supply of my opponent to 70 supply, and I have 2 Dark Templar left, but then I warp in like 15 more because I have bad macro, and then I just base trade them and I win.
Feels good.
That carries me on for like a solid 3 more hours right there.
True story.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Kind
of related, but Tempo, someone said you were writing music on your channel again recently. I put you on the spot.
Oh yeah, so that's actually I had an idea. Actually, my friend did. One of my mods, Sonny, was like, "Yo, I know you've been saying that you've been writing, right? And every time that you write, you don't finish it, you don't record it. We haven't had a Tempo song in a long ass time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about different ways, and I think it's related to Fear Dragon's whole thing about what to do when you stream, right? Like, do you want to play 7 hours a day? Like, are you having this goal to get to like, the next rank, whether it's master this or diamond, whatever, or are you just playing to entertain, or like, what do you want to like do to stand out as well when you stream? And I thought that would be kind of a cool thing where like, not only will I write, certain parody lyrics or like even a StarCraft song that has not even a parody, like an original one, but also take advice from the Twitch chat sometimes and be like, yo, like ideas. If we're on like a track about say like Kerrigan or something, like the story of it, then we look at Twitch chat, we're kind of discussing these kind of things and like the lore, because I don't know everything about the lore, and kind of having like a more interactive experience, but it's still like, you know, StarCraft. At the end of the day, we're like watching some of the cinematics and whatnot to get those ideas and like refresh our minds about the story and whatnot. And people are creative too. I have a lot of people that come by the channel like, yo, I do a little, I spit hot fire, you know, I spit the hot fire. And I'm like, okay,
awesome,
well,
dude.
and trying to get that more community interaction. And it also goes into that whole community building thing, because I feel like a lot of streamers have their own way of building their community, right? So I thought that would be kind of a cool way to incorporate the thing that I'm mostly known for, I would say, like at the end of the day, and bring it back, because it is something that I really, really enjoyed. And the funniest part is, once I started playing more StarCraft, I started doing less StarCraft, like other StarCraft related shit. So like once you have that goal of like, yo, I want to get to Master 1 so bad, or I'm watching VODs, I'm doing a lot of replay analysis of my own and then also of tournaments. And then I like realized that I'm like, oh shit, I just streamed for like 12 hours playing that C2 and getting better at it, but I haven't written one single lyric about it at all. And my brain is too fried at the moment to do it. So I think it's more of a balance, and figuring out stuff.
I understand that so well. There's nothing more time consuming than trying to be good at StarCraft. It will literally take everything you want to give it.
So true.
And you can feel the difference between like playing this much and this much. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
It's
and
fun,
talking like if you're commentating and stuff.
Yeah.
That's always like my yearly, it's not even, the struggle's not the right word, because for me, honestly, I would not ever consider not going off and casting events. But it's funny because my main source of income and my main job, I guess I would say, is being a streamer. And every time I leave for like Katowice for 8 days, or BlizzCon, which is like 2 weeks, and these things, I'm like butchering what I've been building up all year, which is I'm a predominantly StarCraft streamer. So it's kind of a weird, funny thought. But at the same time, I'm so thankful, and just I know that if I was home not traveling and just constantly streaming, I think I'd be a much more unhappy and unfulfilled person. So to me, I say struggle, but it's like numeric struggle. For me, it's really not. I'm so happy for little breaks to go, and it's so funny too, because you go off and you watch fucking Need play, and you watch Serral play, and you watch Parting's control and micro, and then you get home and you're like, Jesus Christ, I want to play StarCraft so bad after seeing that. And it's not even that, like, I know that I'm nowhere near their level and I suck ass, but it's still fun to be like, I'm going to try that thing that worked there.
Oh, yeah.
Stats PVZ with, like, stalkers in a warp prism, picking off creep and then building up this art. Like, it was just so gorgeous and fluid to see. I can never pull it off, but it's so fun to just get amped up about StarCraft that way.
Really, man. Tell me about it.
One of my favorite things is like watching every time there's an event. It's like you watch a really good Protoss player, you get hyped up, and then I wait for the first Roddy stream when he gets back. Every time is like one of the most satisfying things to watch.
And then he plays completely differently and does the same build order that he does in all 3 matchups. With a terrible wall in. Don't ever change, Roddy. I know that he
Never.
Yeah, so that was good.
Good. Oh my God, you just reminded me of something. I'm sorry, I just have to say
do it.
I had a dream about Roddy the other night.
Now you gotta really tell us.
He and I were at an event commentating it, and I think Nate was there too. And Roddy was up on the desk. It was the round of 4, but it was like some sort of weird round robin thing.
Well, if you were there, it had to be the round of 4. Yeah, go ahead.
Roddy was but it was like round robin, right? And Roddy had played in the tournament, and for some reason, if Gumiho beat Maru in a best of 5, Roddy was going to be in the finals. And so Gumiho was up 2-0, and Roddy was like at the desk basically praying. And I'm like, oh my God. And then like Maru actually beat Gumiho, but I thought Gumiho beat Maru. And I went up, I'm like, Roddy, that's so great. You're ruining the tournament, man. You're going to be in the finals. And he's like, Maru just won. I'm like, oh. Yeah, it was really weird.
Dream about you guys. I made a mistake though, so thank you for reminding me, and we'll break this topic down. At Katowice, something happened, and it was funny. We actually laughed ourselves sick, and Kevin said, "You have to tell this story on the Pylon Show, otherwise I'll be disappointed." And I forgot. Last week's Pylon Show, I actually did not tell the story, and I just completely blanked on it. But Kevin was streaming, and he said, "Jeff will tell the story," so I have to tell the story now. It's a very short one, but it's very funny. So there's two things that happened. First of all, and I want to actually we didn't say this, but I want to give a shout out to DeMuslim. Kind of like he came out and commentated. He's commentated a few things, so I don't. He was trying to say it was like his first event ever. It's not. Ben, you stupid son of a bitch. You've cast a few things. You've done it for years, but it was one of the first ones in a long time, and he did a phenomenal job. It was great to have him out there, but he was kind of nervous because he wanted to do a really good job.
I thought he did great, by the way.
He did a great job.
Yeah, man.
Commentary.
More Terran commentators. He's got a great voice, obviously, and he's a very skilled player, so it's just a great perspective. But during his broadcast, he was commentating one of the Maru matches, and he got a little bit wrapped up in the emotion of it because Maru was losing like his third series in a row or whatever. And he ended up saying something along the lines of like, "No, Maru, please survive." And he ended with that and handed off to Maynard. Maynard's like, mate, don't know what's happening over there. Anyway, so the two drops, like he gets all Maynardy about it. But we're commentators, we're all friends. You'd think we'd be professional and let that shit go. No, we did not let that shit go. So Ben comes back to the green room, and everyone is in different moments of ecstasy with this, where they're just like, "Maru, please, no!" And he's just like, "Right, fuck you." And we're like, "Oh my god, Maru, please!" We're just doing this over and over again. So we're all fired up about this, and Ben soldiered on like a good lad and did what he could to ride through the storm. But the storm lasted about 5 days. Now, when this kind of thing happens, we're on heightened alert of other moments like this, and a extremely experienced Mr. Rotterdam, who's commentated, and he'll tell you this. He's got listed on his channel over 100 offline events, you guys, which is incredible. I think that puts him in the top 17 StarCraft 2 commentators. Just most of us don't keep track of that kind of thing because it's weird. He had a moment. And this, I'll tell you, this is something that happens as the day goes on. So it's the beginning of a show, we're waking up. The middle of a show, we're on fire. Where you got some great commentators in StarCraft 2. You really do. The end of a show, however, is some of the memeiest, goofiest, weirdest shit that'll come out of these commentary mouths. That's where Pig sexually moaned about roaches. This is where Maynard's like making blood oath pledges to other commentators about delivering the best finals they've ever heard. Tasteless said it worked. It did not. Like some of these just weird moments happen at the end of tournaments.
I still do that too.
I know that feeling.
So much of this, I think, the audience generally loves the commentators so much they kind of don't even detect these things happening. And that's where I step in. I usually kind of point out that it's happening and try to make fun of the guys. So I failed because nobody picks up on this. But Mr. Rotterdam, during one broadcast, got a little bit roped into... I can't even remember what happened, but it's something that happens to a commentator where they begin to say something, but StarCraft's happening so fast that what he was going to say changes, and then what they have to say also changes. And now, most of the time, a commentator will handle that really fluidly, like the drop's going, pulls back, boosting away. Like that's the kind of thing you would do. But Kevin, in this moment in time, actually had an orgasm on air. And he instead said, he was like, I can't even remember what he was saying, but he was saying something. He just went, and then like it just trailed, it dovetailed. It was a full on, like,
it's amazing.
It was like someone lubed up, something and just went in there. Okay. And he just
Pylon,
loved
maybe?
it.
I don't know.
Something like that. And anyways, as you can imagine, every commentator in the building heard this because we're all on heightened alert to find the other one's weakness because we made fun of DeMuslim for like 6 days. And Kevin came back to what could be best described as some kind of brothel, like a big Vegas brothel, like hundreds of people, everyone just moaning and orgasming at the same time. And Kevin, one of my favorite things about him, he's a proud man, but when he's been gotten, he doesn't like it very much, but he's such a nice guy that he'll have a smile and he'll kind of laugh, but then he'll be like, okay, it's not what it sounded like. All right. But we were just in the back, just like, like everyone's just like moaning and shit. That he eventually just full on, he had his Roddy breakdown in the back where he was laughing so hard that he was moaning again, which then sent us into more moans. So that was the whole story. We laughed ourselves sick, and then we snuck it into a few broadcasts. But again, our audience is so nice that they're just like, oh, Jeff moaned there a little bit, but that's kind of normal, I guess. And the other commentators are behind the camera like, he did it. That's fucking Rotterdam. So sick.
That was the biggest surprise to me about doing my first event in 2017. I was like, there are So many inside jokes on these broadcasts. Jesus Christ.
It's all we do. Yeah.
So that's awesome though.
The entire time. So it was a really good event. But that's the Roddy story. Make sure and fill up his chat with that. He watches the show every time, but he usually watches it a day or two later because he is a subscriber to the channel, but he likes to consume that content at a later time. There you go. All right.
Beautiful.
So let's get to the final topic. And this is kind of a big one, by the way.
I think we do have to really quickly go over the bracket for WESG as well.
ESG.
We skipped over that 'cause we did it.
Yeah, we
quick.
did.
Just
No, you're right.
we should mention what the bracket looks like.
Let's take a look at the
I'm not
bracket.
sure
We
why
got a new subject
why
here.
it stopped where it stopped. But
Oh,
I
wait.
guess
Before
we
you do
can
it.
fix
Oh,
that.
it's too late. Spoilers. There's gonna be Anyways. I know. Our show reports on results, but we still have people who are like, yo, not cool, man. I was just here to listen to you guys talk about non-spoiler things. It's like...
So I guess the biggest stories, other than the Max said thing that we already went over, would be, for instance, Trogo won his group 10-0 in maps over Raynor, so that's pretty impressive. We also saw, Maru lost to Miomeka. I didn't get to see that match yet, but that was kind of interesting. Those were the only games he lost. Neeb beat Cyril.
Yeah.
So Cyril, not dominating as much. Mana did not lose a single map in his group that had Lambo in it. So, I mean, that was the easy group, but, I don't think you'd expect him necessarily to 2-0 Lambo there.
Lambo. Yeah, no, Lambo's been doing really good lately.
Yeah.
His results are crazy.
Also, sort of smashed his group as well. And that was kind of one of those ones that's was pretty highly contested with Time, Kelliger, Rail, and sort of. So he went 5-0, 8-1 in maps. Pretty sick. Anyways, the round of 16 occurred. Cyril over Mana 3-1, Dark over Tudming 3-0, DNS over Sword of 3-2, Scarlet over Special 3-1, Maru over Laser 3-0, Neeb over Raynor 3-2.
Yeah.
Damn, Neeb's looking good, huh?
Yep.
And so, we didn't get to see the last two matches in the round of 16 yet, which are Drogo Lambo and Innovation Rail. So those will be occurring today, no doubt. And so that's kind of where we're at. I think there's just 2 days left.
The results have been sick. Neeb Maru rematch from Katowice is going to be amazing. Scarlet looking good. Cyril against Dark. Also, of course, just interesting from 2018, but also kind of a bounce back, right? Like Sue was able to beat Cyril to kind of upset Katowice. And Cyril's tripped up since then. He, like you said, he lost to Neeb. That was kind of a shocker there just immediately after this. This tournament happened so fast, though, by the way. It's not like these guys went home and trained for like another month or two. They're just going off of like one event to the next. But if Cyril can beat Dark here and set up probably a Scarlet versus Cyril semifinal, that'd be pretty incredible.
Nuts.
Neeb, if he can beat Maru again, because the first time was like, okay, Maru didn't travel well, he's playing bad. Now Maru's smashing face, right? He 3-0's a laser. He tore up his group, except for the weird, whatever the hell that other one was. If Neeb beats him now, we really need to nerf Protoss. So we'll get to that in a second.
He's mad.
We can't have any more of that. Yeah.
He learned English and he was watching those VODs, man. He heard what you had to say, man. He was just like, who said?
Absolutely disgusting if we get another Protoss win here, guys. I won't have it. I won't stand for it. We need a Zerg win.
Yeah. We've had a lot of Protosses winning tournaments for sure.
Too many, Dan. I would say too many. Yeah. The only other thing I would say here, the bracket's amazing. The games have been good. We actually forgot to do a whole topic on this. We kind of got swept away with the other stuff, but that's okay. We do a lot of tournament reporting. I just want to say, and you guys can give your opinion too, but production for WSG has been absolute shit. It really has.
It's been, yeah.
And last year it was bad. This year it was bad. The thing that kind of bums me out about that is I think an event can have bad production. It's just up to the next year for them to nail it out of the park, to like really take care of it. And I get it. It's not like it's just StarCraft. The CSGO stuff's been having a ton of problems. It's just WSG in general. And when you run events in China, it's really hard to do that. There's just tons of Chinese events that have had problems. There's also Chinese events that have done flawless. So it's not like it's impossible. It's just kind of sad. This is $150,000 for first place. It only pays out the top 8 to do that. So that's in and of itself really terrible. Mana's tweets, you can look at that for the most tragic thing in the world. He gets Cyril in the round of 16. He's like, well, at least I get paid for top. And he's like, no, I don't. Never mind. He's obviously Mr. Sunshine. So he had it was a good tweet. He was like, I'm going to go back to training. This is still a good result for me. But that's brutal. It's not like we, I would never condemn a tournament and be like, we don't watch it. I'm gonna watch the shit out of this. The games are great. I love the commentary. It's just been fun. But come on, it's just tough, bad production.
Yeah, it's so frustrating too because of like it's such a good tournament. Like when you look at the brackets and it's like almost like the tournament that not that never happened, but like should get so much more attention here.
Yeah.
Coming off of
It's
IEM,
like
continuing
WCG.
that. Yeah, right.
It just like creates cool and exciting storylines and stuff.
They're great. Coming off of IEM, especially just like already, who would have thought that these players would be kind of like fighting each other again?
Yeah.
See if it's a fluke or not in some of those upsets.
Well, I think basically every tournament that there has ever been that is an Olympics type tournament, and the thing is, those are generally some of my favorites, like WCG. IESF is still around, WESG. Like these are really cool initiatives, and like I really like the idea of the kind of Olympic, like get your heroes from your different countries and stuff. But every single one of these, it's not about the esports, it's about the idea of the esports. Like that's what they're selling. They're not actually selling esports. They're not actually a company like an MLG or a DreamHack or an IEM where they're actually selling esports. They're selling the idea of it via this Olympic type competition, and you can just always tell via the rules, the streams, the lack of stuff on all this. This is more like a big picture thing for people. They're selling it to people with money, that don't actually care about esports. It's not actually about us, the viewers. That's just I don't know why that's always the case with these ones that are very international, but it has been.
Yeah, Cobra, show that picture. This is a good one actually. This is WESG summed up, and I love this so much. It's Rapid just pushed out of bed. Like they shoved him out of bed, threw him on the camera. But guys, I talked about this a while ago. I've seen it. I know I can see it from 100 yards away. That's Wardy Hour 7. It's my favorite thing to watch online. This is a guy who's been through some shit, and he's done. He's tired of it. And that's it. That's what it looks like right there. Wardy is here to sell you some goddamn insurance, and if you say no to him,
dude,
it's just
they're casting from Kiev for a Chinese event.
That's right. That's right. I keep forgetting that.
There was this like awful clip too from the broadcast where like the stream freezes. You just see like a loading circle, but you can still hear the commentators talking. And then apparently Roddy comes and saves the day and like full screens what looks to be a clean feed from a YouTube thing, which by the way that's not how you normally should be getting a clean feed of something. You can actually
I did see that
feed usually through something else, and then like fast forwarding up in like time. It's just frustrating because it's a missed opportunity.
Yes,
with the amount of money that gets thrown around, this could actually be like, I don't want to go so far as to just be like it's just this easy. You snap your fingers and boom, we got a second IEM Katowice. But it's like you actually have what it takes to do this,
right?
But you're just not
simply like.
This video is giving me skin crawl. I hate that you're. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. And then
Matt, you're a sadistic guy sometimes, man.
Like when you see that, and it's just like, god damn.
Like this is the kind of stuff that you would expect that happens in like a community stream. Like I'm running a stream and I have something stupid go wrong, and I'm like, oh damn, that sucks. This $100 tournament had like a little bit of a production faux pas.
You hit the nail on the head when you said it's a missed opportunity. That's just
very much
our best players. They travel to China. It's a great event, like monetarily and everything. They've got professional commentators. It's just I always think I get a little bit embarrassed when something like this happens because then people are like, well, the numbers aren't that good, so it must be that StarCraft's not doing that well. It's like, no, man, it can be great, but
the numbers are actually okay too. Like considering, it was like when I tuned in yesterday, during Scarlet special, it was over 6K viewers, so that's all right considering.
The time, when does it go on too? It's
like a weird Twitch channel. The advertisement hasn't been strong.
So what just happened here?
There's a lot of time in between matches.
For people who don't know, what just happened is we're at like a soccer game and we're all hanging out. You guys are the audience. You're through an avatar, and Dan's kind of quietly watching his child out there in the soccer field, and they're eating a fistful of boogers, and they're standing 70 feet away from everybody else as they play this game.
Good
of
for their
soccer.
immune system.
And he's like, you know what? They're out there. They got their cleats on. They're doing the best they can. It's just not that bad. And it's one of those moments that's so endearing that you can't help but to look at him and be like, no, your kid's like a fucking weirdo. But instead, you're just like, yeah,
You know what?
you're right. 6K viewers and like, green screen commentary from a different continent. It's like, this is it's fine. It's going okay.
Is the water
You're right. It is technically a different continent, even though you can drive a car from one city to the other.
Yep. I studied multiple subjects in college.
Yeah, I know these things.
Holy shit. Anyways, let's get to our final. This is going to be a long show, so we're going to have to buzz through the ladder stuff and the questions. But this is an important one. They just had a community update, you guys. And I'll tell you what. I saw Artosis tweet about it. I felt like...
Actually, I think I typed in our Discord. I don't think I.
Oh, you typed in the Discord? Okay, well, this is a good one. Dan, you want to talk a little bit about? You want to do this one?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so. So Nidus Network / Nidus Worm. They're nerfing the Nidus Worm apparently. And it'll have 3 armor instead of 5 when emerging. Everything else looks to be the same, but obviously that is a gigantic difference for the speed with which you can kill the Nidus Worm. We've definitely talked a lot about Nidus Worms on the show and whether or not they're too strong. Most people seem to agree to let it sit for a little bit as people are getting better, but it looks like there'll be a nerf. Yeah. And then there is a Protoss nerf coming right up. Let me read what they said before I read the changes. Over the past few months, we've been following discussions within the community surrounding the TVP matchup. Most of it centered around Protoss' ability to build an upgrade advantage over Terran. To address this, we'd like to reduce the windows in which Protoss gain advantage over Terran by increasing the Protoss upgrade durations. Anyways, these are going to come out on March 25th, apparently, but the time for level 1 upgrade increased by 15 seconds. The time for level 2 upgrade increased by 18 seconds. The time for level 3 upgrade increased by 22 seconds. Now, I mean, I got to say how tired I am of seeing Protoss nerfs. I'm so tired of it. It is so, it saps my soul. How
give
often
Terran buffs.
It's just
no. I'm not even joking. Like nerfs. I agree with Dan. Nerfs are a downer.
They are. They're a downer, especially because Protoss almost always gets nerfs. It's insane. Like just there have been. I want someone to go through and actually count the times and stuff. It's pretty crazy because everyone complains so much. Last week we were talking a lot about I Am Katowice games and stuff. So I grabbed the replay pack the next day, went through it on my stream, and just went through some of the games that people were talking about. Hero Alive and a bunch of Deers games and stuff like that. And just a lot of good games in there. And went through a bunch and. People are saying the imbalance, so I made a video of it and threw it on YouTube of showing that it's like, oh, do you guys think that this match went this way because of imbalance? And then I just point out the most basic stuff that the Terran is doing wrong, right? And you should have seen the feedback that I got for this. I normally don't read feedback, but this time I went around and kind of
angry stuff.
Looked, dude, there are so many people that obviously did not watch the video, and there's a lot of people that watched the video, but apparently didn't take multiple classes in college because what they said was so stupid. It's amazing how heated people get about this, and it's like just people just want to complain. They just want to blame their losses on something else, and the amount of complaining is so high that here's another nerf. There it is.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Tempo, Ravi?
I for one think that if they want to do this kind of nerf, they should just instead make it so that if you chrono boost the forge when it's upgrading something, then you only get a half a damage increase because that's you did a shoddy job. It's a rush job or something. I have no actual opinion on balance whatsoever.
This one,
to me, StarCraft is it's like a puzzle. You're given a maze, and it's cool. I'm gonna solve this puzzle. And then I just hear some people over there with the same puzzle. And it's hey, can we remove this wall from the maze? Like, it's making it kind of hard. And I'm like, okay, but like I just want to solve the puzzle. I don't really care. I trust that the puzzle is well designed. I just want to find my solution. So I have no
I
opinions on
mean,
balance.
I come from like it's just one of those because I don't really know that. Like I only cast a TVP matchup, right? Like I don't have any bias when it comes down to it. But I mean, I have to kind of take what everybody else is saying for the most part, and then what I see as well. And like, what is there like a generally agreed upon thing that Terran really like? What is it that is making it so hard against Protoss? Aside from what I've gathered, it's people saying things like the economy situation, right? Like Terran economy can't keep up with Protoss. Protoss is not able to be harassed in any way, and then they just build up and
Well,
you know,
okay, so
what is like this
you
big
say something great. So first of all, we plan on having a Terran episode of the Pylon Show. We didn't.
Oh, okay.
We're not doing it now because
Like,
most of those guys are
this would not be the
WESG or wrapped up. But we're
I
gonna
did-
do a couple pro gamers on the show. We're gonna try. It's tough. I saw
Yeah.
Euthermy in the chat, so Mr. Thermal.
Mhm.
I'd like to have you on. I want to get the Muslim on, that kind of stuff. And
I'd like to have those two in BCQD because I think he's a balance.
BCQ would be good too.
He plays random now too, yeah.
I'm gonna put it out there though. It's not a bash session. We're not gonna like bring Terrans on and then like hate on them for their whine or
No.
opinion. We're gonna try to actually suss this out because you bring up a good point. Because
Get
for
to the
me,
bottom of this, yeah.
I'm around this game constantly, all the time, and it's not like I don't think there is ever balance issues. There certainly are, but it's a weird mental fixation we have right now. Like one of my favorite streams to watch is the Muslim. I watch Hero Marine. I watch Juggernaut Jason. Varying different degrees of commentary on this issue in there, but sometimes a Terran player will literally just kind of go on a wax poetical half-hour diatribe about how like there's nothing they can do. There is nothing they can do. And then the next game at 6400 MMR, the Muslim will smash and obliterate a Protoss and be like, well, he played that wrong. And it's kind of tough because if you believe there's nothing you can do, if they play perfectly, it's very Hydra mentality. Then yeah, you're going to have these weird mental deficiencies. Now, that's not to say that I don't think we should touch the game ever, by the way. I actually believe there should be some Terran buffs. I think revert back the Widowmine, put it back as powerful as it was, give bonus damage to shields, whatever, like that kind of stuff. I think buffs are exciting. I will tell you as a Protoss person, it's so depressing to have this like hate culture of Protoss. Like we joke about it, but it's super fucking real. Like there's just a huge hate culture about Protoss. And then anytime Protoss does well at all, it must be wrong, by the way. Has it ever been that Protoss has done well and people have been like, that guy's incredible? They instead say, got Protoss. It's imbalanced. This is it's too strong. Whereas when a Zerg or Terran achieves the best, yes, of course, there's still some people that say balance, but for the most part, the taglines are like, simply the best, so powerful, look at their talent, look what they've achieved. It's really weird how when Protoss wins, we believe that it's wrong and they need to be nerfed. It happens all the fucking time. It has for years. So I'll continue to make jokes about it because honestly, that's how I handle this kind of shit. But like,
yeah,
if you don't laugh, you cry. So like seeing this, I was like, by the way, does anyone in their right mind think that's going to make TVP better? Like 15 fucking seconds later, the upgrade kicks in. What happens in those 15 seconds that's going to help Terran? Like what? In what world? You give them a 15-second window for them to get that damage in where they win the game, and you think,
yeah,
it's just it's so annoying and for so many reasons. Overall, it's almost a minute nerf total.
I was gonna say because they're stacking each of the seconds, right? Like it's 15, and then you research it for the same research time for level 2 plus another 18, and like how does that affect? How does that affect like PVZ, right? Then you have to go into that kind of whole rabbit hole as far as like
it's just the whole thing is so annoying that like this much complaining can happen and just like I want to see some pro games where there's actual imbalance at work. I want to see them. I want to fucking show me.
Yeah, I think
like you
go,
said,
I mean, there's been
like you
some. You have
said,
to almost
it's
go
like-
as far back as Brûleur and Fester, right? Like everyone kind of recognized. I was like, well, this is broken.
God.
But then it got fixed in
it's a
and then get
frustrating
fixed in Wings Liberty. It took an entire.
We definitely will do an episode with a bunch of Terran players on here and talk about it. But yeah, I don't know. There's too much complaining. Everyone needs to look at the game. The fact that I love your example, Jeff. It's so clear of, you know, it's like there's nothing I can do, and then they win. You're like, well, they just did that wrong. What the fuck? Are you perfect and they're perfect? Or you expect both players to be perfect? What are we doing here? But everyone makes mistakes every game. So,
Right.
oh my god,
tons of mistakes. That's the best part about StarCraft. Is the game of making mistakes and trying their best to minimize them.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Fucking epilogue of life, man.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just want to know if you get all the Terrans on, if they're all going to even agree on what it is that's wrong, man. That's what I'm waiting.
Good
I'm
question.
gonna popcorn. I'm gonna be like ready to see if they even agree, and they start fighting. Like, no, this is what needs to be fixed.
no, it'll be good. It'll be good
Somebody
on
keep
talking.
excelling
Like I
with
said, the
stuff.
plan's not to ambush them or to be like shout
Of
them
course
down.
not. I just want to see if there's like a general thing that is at least everyone agrees on. Because that, I mean,
There
even
might not be. We don't even know.
Protoss would be able to agree on too, right? Like,
And yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be fun. So that's something we'll try to work on down the line here. But let's get through the tournament reporting real quick. Then we got the Patreon Q&A, and then we'll call it a show. So GSL been kicking ass. Dan, what's going on there?
Yeah, that's right. We we had to stop again because of WESG, but we did do a couple groups right when everyone got back. Bunny defeated Maru in Group A of the round of 16 and actually won the group. That was kind of wild. We definitely wasn't expecting that. There were some dirty games in that group with Impact and Patience. It's it was pretty fun though. The first match, Maru versus Impact, was one of the worst matches I've ever seen. And then the last match, they played in the final match of the night, and it was actually really close and good macro games and stuff. It's just the first series. I had no faith going to the last series, man. That was like, but
yeah,
it turned out nice. So Bunny and Maru go on. A couple Terrans, huh? Oh,
it's nice seeing Bunny play really well, though, because he's been a guy that kind of like shines bright earlier on and then flickers out. So hopefully he can continue this.
He played really well, man. Like he's not peaked yet. I think he might be a player over the next year that we really watch rise to the top.
Yes, agreed.
Real possibility. And then we had Group D, which was the weirdest thing because that was the group of death, right? TY, Rogue, Su, Gumiho, and everyone's like, oh, this is a group of death. This is gonna be so close. Anyone can get out of here. Every match was 2-0, and every match was so one-sided.
Yeah.
Okay. It started out with TY wrecking Gumiho, and then it had Rogue wrecking Su. So I'm like, you know what? At least TY Rogue is going to be great. No, TY wrecked Rogue. Like, that's fine. Su and Gumiho, that's a match right there. That'll be a good one. Su wrecked Gumiho.
He's disgusting.
Like, okay, well, Rogue Su, ZVZ, BlizzCon Finals, right? This is a good match. I can't wait. No, Rogue wrecks Su 2-0. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, what does this even mean?
That broadcast was so short also.
It was so short, yeah, man.
3 hours. I was like, wait, hold on.
That was supposed to be the good day.
Like, I thought somebody forfeit or something when I looked at the VODs because I had to watch the VODs. I was like, oh, already it's going to be a short one, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's GSL for you. We'll be back after on the 20th of March after WESG is over and everyone's back. Group C.
Oh, I thought you just had to recover. I thought you guys were recovering from that last group. I didn't realize it was because it was a.
Yeah, we had to cancel the next two groups. Like
Innovation and Dark are both in China right now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right, on to Brood War.
Yes. Well, not a whole lot happened since last week. We only had a third, fourth place match. It was terrible. It was actually Effort's last. Yeah, a lot of bad matches. What the hell? I guess we had too long of really good matches.
Yeah.
But you guys don't need to watch this one. Effort demolished Rain. The entire broadcast was an hour and 10 minutes.
Holy shit.
Of it was Phil. It was nothing. Effort just 3-0'd him so quickly. It was bad one-sided, just complete destruction, a lot of cheesy play and stuff. But that was Effort's. He gets third place. He was the defending champion, but that was his last official televised match, I believe. Because he's going to the military. And I'm sure he'll be a pro gamer when he gets out. But that'll be it for him for a bit. So there you go. We have the finals on Sunday, and that's going to be awesome. Last versus Mini.
Hopefully.
Oh, it better be. My God, that third, fourth place. Oof.
Yeah, hopefully it lasts longer and it's not just like a mini finals.
Well, don't worry. I mean, last is the second best Terran on Earth, and Mini's Protoss, which we all know is imbalanced in both games. So It's for sure.
I got what you did there, man.
All right. Well, that's GSL and ASL. Like we said, a little bit of a hiatus right now. Very kind of slow on that just because WESG. But make sure and check out WESG. It's going on the next few days here. And that brings us to the Patreon Q&A. So just as a reminder, the new system, if you're like, well, I'm a supporter of the show, I want to ask questions, all you have to do is head to our website, and then there's a big button there at the top. You click it. It brings up a field. You type in your question, and it will submit it to the Discord where we then read it. And if you want to ask a bigger and longer question, soon Cobra will have the functionality for you at the $25 tier to ask big-ass questions. And if you already are a supporter, by the way, you can take advantage of that when it gets up and running from Cobra. Or higher. There's people that are higher than that tier. You can do it too. So you're supporting the show. We love you guys. And then you get to ask whatever the heck it is you want. And I have to say, we were kind of having a chuckle before. Questions are a popular segment. You guys like asking your question. That's really, really cool. We appreciate you guys. We always wanted this to be an interactive show. We wanted people to have their say and be a part of this too. And this is the way we've kind of come to doing it. So thank you guys for participating. All right. But let's get into some of these questions. So Cobra's pulling it up right now. I can pilot it, Cobra. I'll take over. Give me the wheel. So so this one gets asked a bunch, and I'm gonna answer it. I don't think it's a particularly good question, but it gets asked a lot, so I guess we'll just kind of give it the second again. Hydra asks, are performing enhancing drugs used in the competitive StarCraft scene or maybe other esports? For example, Adderall is an amphetamine banned in all sports by the World Anti-Doping Agency because of its performance-enhancing effects on the mind, mainly the ability to concentrate. I mean, this is kind of the example of like we know what you mean. This gets asked, I would say, once every other month by somebody. They're extremely interested in the idea that all of StarCraft players are drugged out of their mind with like mind or body enhancing drugs, and they're super soldiers of some kind. I'm sure it does happen. Nobody here knows. Nobody here has any extensive experience with it, and we never are able to give you some awesome answer where we're like, yeah, dude, Neeb is stoked out of his mind on something, and that's what helps him win. We don't know.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it's really occurring within StarCraft. Like, I know that there's been accounts of people saying like, oh, in this Halo tournament or this, whatever game, I think it would probably be less worthwhile in StarCraft regardless, because it's not about just a quick reflex shooting someone in the head or something like some of these other games, right? Which I've seen people report that it had happened in those games. I don't have any firsthand knowledge of that, but it's less twitch reflex. It's StarCraft. You really have to kind of be on the ball mentally and react to what you're seeing in a lot of ways. So I don't even know how helpful it would be, to be honest. But
please don't.
I don't know of anyone doing it.
Don't ask questions to this question, Dan. Jesus Christ. Like Dan said, the bottom line is we actually don't know. We don't have stories. I'm sure it does happen, but like this keeps getting asked. There's not going to be some update where someone's like, yeah, I found a drug ring. There's Adderall has been running rampant through the Western Hemisphere StarCraft scene. Like, we don't know.
A lot of people drink coffee and play StarCraft.
Oh yeah, we got to get to the bottom of that. That's it's getting out of hand as well.
Monster, that's right. Jeff likes
any of it, man. Too. I don't know. Is it performance enhancing? Maybe. Yusorjan asks to Jeff, to someone that knows nothing about Warhammer, can you explain why you like it? And then he says, Artosis, where did you meet your wife? So you don't have to answer that, but. Warhammer, explain it. Nah, that's what I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just like this game is it's just like StarCraft. It's so beautifully complex and huge. It's got a 30-year tradition that no, I could not take a amount of time to explain it. Other than the quickest TLDR is it's a tabletop miniature game, very much so like a StarCraft in that it is got features of an RTS and it's squad based and it's really meticulous and very intelligent and fun and awesome. Gorgeous hobby game. I love it to death. Dan, did you want to say where you met your wife?
I met my wife in Korea, just dating and met her. And yeah, a lot of people ask specifically that, whether I brought her over here or met her here. I met her here. She was an English teacher. There you go.
There you go.
Can I just add on, Jeff, for anyone that is interested, you actually did release, and I remember because I listened to it and I really enjoyed it. You released a YouTube video that you talk about intro to Warhammer and explain like a lot of it. So if you are interested in hearing that answer, Jeff has actually done that before.
You are doing my job better than me. And then Matt, the producer, pulls up the video immediately. Thank you guys. Yep. It's true. I
Damn.
did a video on my YouTube at Control TV where I just basically talk about getting into the game. So it talks about the books, the game, video games, all that stuff.
Nice.
And like I said, I'm not trying to be a dick. I know I'm being glib. It's just been a long show, but like that question's gigantic. So catch me later. I'll tell you all about Warhammer. Next question to the panel. What was your favorite period of the meta? What do you think was the low point, and why was it Broodlord and Fester? What has been your guys' favorite part of StarCraft meta?
I have a really dumb answer. So there was this period of time back in Wings of Liberty where in Protoss versus Terran, like Terrans suddenly felt like they didn't need to make a bunker at the front, like when you went for the One Rax expansion. And Protoss players would go for like their one gate expand, as is per usual. But like Protoss players just realized that if Terrans didn't build a bunker and you just sent a Zealot and a Stalker across the map, you'd literally just kill them. Like with just a Zealot and a Stalker. And I remember I had like a ladder session where I hit like nothing but Terrans. I hit like maybe 1 or 2 Zerg or Protoss or something. And I went like 18 and 4 or something.
Oof, something's
in
wrong
the
there.
span of like three hours or something. It was nuts. That was my favorite time of StarCraft.
So my answer is really quick. I actually really enjoy the meta now. I think StarCraft's in the best place it's ever been. But to be more interesting than that, it's not my favorite. It's not the best, but I really enjoyed it, and it's really cool. Way back at the beginning of StarCraft 2, when like Liquid Nazgul was still competing and playing, it was pretty prominent to do one gate Zealot expand, and you would literally just churn out Zealots from this one gate and then micro the shit out of them as they harass your opponent. It really helped engage StarCraft 2 for me because Brood War was so skill-based, it was so micro, so control-oriented. StarCraft 2 was, and still is, a dumbing down of that to a certain degree, right? For some, that's a better thing. For other people, it's worse. But for me as a Brood War purist, this is what I wanted. And Nazgul and some other Protosses really kind of brought that style out where they were microing the Zealot while managing their economy back at home. And it was really chaotic, and it was very back and forth, and it was really fun. So I really enjoyed that.
My favorite meta, the first thing that actually popped in my mind, I'm not 100% sure this was my favorite meta, but I very much enjoyed it, was the end of the Swarm Host meta before the patch came out that nerfed Swarm Hosts. Because I wrote an article about it way back then in a now defunct magazine, so you probably can't find it. But basically, like Swarm Host started really dominating ZVP for a little bit, but specifically Hero, as in former Root Hero. Now he's on a Chinese team. I forget which one.
Yeah.
He started really like single-handedly figuring out how to kill the Swarm Hosts. Like he would it was really cool because in that matchup specifically, it would be like kind of a back and forth, cool PvZ for a little bit, and eventually it would always get into Swarm Hosts. So then you'd have like this moment where you're starting to get sieged, and then the way Hero was doing it was like kind of having different groups of units all over the place and hitting with prisms in different locations and using speed upgrades. And it was really kind of cool because you were playing like multiple games within a single game. And I thought I felt for me, PvZ was getting extremely interesting. And then of course enough people were complaining and the fucking Swarm Host just went away forever from that design. So
Tempo, you got one?
like, I was gonna say when back when Muta versus Muta and ZVZ was like more standard, I would say. Like I really enjoyed that style. Just like it was around the same time I think when even in ZVT, like Linkbane Muta like was, you know, it's kind of a boring answer, but like I enjoy those games so much of just like that multitasking and getting the run bys and poking, not being able to get like the damage done, so you get out of there, find another place to go and hit. And also I think my favorite time was when I learned the it was around the same time I think too with the Roach. What was it? The Roach Bane. Who was it that popularized it? That Roach Bane 1/1 with the 1/1 melee.
Oh god, you like
around
that?
the time with, like Frost. Who was it?
Oh,
was it
man.
Dark?
It might have been Dark, or it might have been I can't remember.
Well, Hyun did it a million
remember
times
the
back.
Like everybody ended up doing it, but like yeah, when I like solidified that, you know, when you finally learn that build and you just like crash through and just like blow everything up and just run through the base. This is like probably
that was so
like,
hard to stop when it first.
It was really so stupid. Yeah.
I was like watching so many Drogo games right then to figure it out because he was like one of the only people that I saw actually. Oh my god, the amount of aliens in his Archons, man, it was beautiful.
It's just like dumb, yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah. But yeah. What is it? The worst times? I think Broodlord and Festive for me as a Zerg player. because I like to do the whole harassing and going all over the place. And I'll never forget one time when Machine, you know, your boy Bryce, our boy, he's like, all right, Temple, I can coach you, man. I'm like, all right, word, man. I just trying to get into Diamond. That's really what I want to do before I, you know, go into the next expansion. And he's like, all right, here's what you do, man. You just drone up, right? I'm like, okay. All right, you're going to get your gas and you're going to get your lair, right? I'm like, all right, sweet, sweet. I'm like, when do I attack? He's like, nope, don't worry, man. You just sit here, dude. Just take your third base, right? I'm like, all right, now spread your creep a little bit. Now put some spine crawlers down, all right? I'm like, all right, this is getting exciting, yo. When are we going to leave our base to go attack? Like, get your hive, dude. Get that infestation pit down. I'm like, all right, I can do that. We're getting all of our tech up. We're going to make infestors and, you know, get some infestors out, get that energy up. And then he's like, get your spire out at the same time, make the broodlords. All right, now you got it. I'm like, all right, so we're attacking now, right? He's like, yep, you're just gonna A move across the map and then look for stuff and just hit F. And whenever you see clumps of units, you just hit it. You just A move with the broodlords. Don't do anything else with them. Don't try to micro them or anything. Just use your infestors, man. I'm like, okay, I guess.
He was
And,
always
like,
a brilliant.
The funniest part back then was the absolute desperation of Terran. Like, they were fighting so hard to stop them, and Zerg just defended. And then my favorite part, and this is like, God, what was that space tile set map with? Anyways, it would just be the Terran gets to a place where they're like, I put my whole army in my medevacs and I just dropped them and hope to God.
At that point, yeah.
No, not Daybreak. It was like the space, but it had like dirt tile set. It was top left,
Delta
bottom right. Anyways, not Scrap Station. That's old.
Metalopolis?
Antigua Shipyard. I think it was.
Yeah,
that's it.
And Terrans, every time they were just, it was the funny, you could feel it in the game where they were like fighting and everywhere and Jesus. And then the Broodlords are like coming across the map. They're like, fuck it. Everything in dropships. Here we go. And they just, and the Zerg would be like, oh no, our base is under attack. And they'd like turn around like, here we come.
But it was just, that was the coaching session. And I'll never forget that coaching session because of just like my idea of like how I wanted to play. And then like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do? Like, is this why I'm not like master right now? Or I'm doing everything else wrong,
the answer
man?
is yes.
100%, man.
Nice meme. Anyways, then there's a bunch of questions about the betting scandal. We talked about that. What's your favorite book or a great book you would recommend?
Well, I have a lot of favorite books from the past couple years. I think probably the best book that I've read was The $1 Billion Spy by David Hoffman.
The $1 Billion Spy?
It's a true story. It's amazing. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I would highly recommend everyone purchases and reads this book. It's just, my God, that book was good. And if you've read that book and you are like, this is the greatest book, recommend me other books that you've read that are like it, because it was so good.
What about you guys?
I like Harry Potter.
It's okay to like Harry Potter.
Yeah. But there was this book I actually read. It was like regarding like marketing and stuff called The Anatomy of Buzz, I believe it's called. And it's just about like how like buzz works as far as the whole like concept of, you know, why things get hot and then like capitalizing on it at a certain time. And I think it was like when I was growing my YouTube channel, as far as like reading on like how to, you know, market out and what you're looking for in your target audience and stuff like that. But I'll never forget it. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to the Dune books too. I read the first 6 Dune books by the actual author. Oh my God. So good. Dune is the greatest.
I've heard of it though. Yeah.
Oof.
Ravi?
So I got this book recommended to me by Dan.
That's a good book too.
Mind Gym was a really fun read. It's a sports psychology book. I even got Dan to just write inside of it saying best book because he recommended it to me and I'm still a fanboy.
Hey, nice.
But I can testify that I like this book so much that I bought like 7 copies of it at DreamHack Austin 2017. And I gave it to certain players that I really believed in and like were super adamant about their like mentality and stuff. Every single player I've given it to, the tournament that they read it at, all of them have outperformed their like original expectations and stuff. Game Time beat Thermal and made group stage 3. Raze did really well. Jon Snow had a breakout performance with it and everything. And then every single time they do really well that one tournament, and then the next tournament they start bombing out of the tournament. So it's a blessing and a curse right now.
Yeah.
It's an amazing book.
It's a great
It
book.
got me very interested in that subject.
Sick.
That was like the first sports psychology book I read. I've read a lot since then.
It's cool because it introduced me to the fact that sports psychology is really just like general success in life themed around sports. Like it's super applicable to literally everything.
Oh yeah. Nice. Mine's nerdy. I would recommend basically anything Dan Abnett, but specifically I get asked about Warhammer books a lot. Eisenhorn has an omnibus. It's 3 books. It's incredible. It's Dan Abnett. If you like that, you can read Ravener, also Dan Abnett, another 3 books. Amazing. Then if you like all of that, you can read the Gaunt's Ghost stories, which are kind of traditional Imperial Guard stories, but if you're in the military or around the military, I think you might, in particular, glob onto that because it's a very infantryman, grunt, military vibe.
What's the name of that book again?
Gaunt's Ghosts, Gaunts Ghosts. Just Google that. For people that aren't familiar with Warhammer and you're like, well, I can't read a Warhammer book, Dan Abnett does a really good job of making them very accessible, actually. And then anything you have a tough time, like, I don't know what that reference is. The wiki for Warhammer 40k is Lexicanum, and you can kind of just put in any term in there and it'll bring up a blurb about it. But it's super rewarding. Dan Abnett is the guy that rebooted Guardians of the Galaxy, which they then based the movies off of, and he's done a bunch of other stuff that he's very successful with. He's one of my favorite authors, and I read a lot. So I highly recommend it. That's always my big one. All right, couple more questions. I think we have some bot-generated ones, Mr. Cobra. Pull that up because I don't. Here we are. So real quick, couple more questions, guys, and we'll end the show. If each of you were selected to be developed as new heroes in co-op, what personality quirks or personal attributes would be the basis of your characters?
Probably my overwhelming stupidity offweighed by my passion for StarCraft.
Yeah. That would be a sick commander. It's like everywhere you click, it goes the different direction, but it does it really well. So you have to like game against it the entire time.
Well, it would probably just be the Protoss race. Am I right?
Too soon. Damn.
It's like that Ice Baneling. I don't know if you ever played that arcade game like Ice Baneling where you like click like up to the top and it turns your Baneling to go like the other way when you hit the certain like reverse ice.
Oh my god. That would be
man.
Robbie?
Very much so.
I think I would probably be like a special unit where, or like a special, there'd be like a drop down ability skill. Like you'd have normal units and stuff, but like the drop down was every single unit on the map, like their movement speed, their attack damage, their attack speed, like their abilities, they just all get scrambled and randomized. So everyone just has like really stupid random stats again, because I really like really stupid balance suggestions.
Nice. Tempo?
I mean, some people say I have an infectious personality, so I figure like every enemy that comes in contact with me pretty much just kills itself. And then like I don't really have to do like anything at all. And I just run around and smile and then you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just
do you
playing,
need to talk to a friend?
You gotta look at infectious
kill
personality.
him with kindness, man. Kill him with kindness, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't know what my character would be. It would be I think everything that, like, every time an immortal kills something or something dies, the jokes, like the names get more and more inappropriate, and you have to beat the game before it gets too out of control, and then you get fired. That's probably.
I like it.
That's what I would do.
Too out of control or too in control?
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! You sick son of a bitch. We're in another Hyper Turtle. We're in another situation. Okay, all right. We're in another situation where accusations towards a player are being shared on community sites. How important is it for, and not share the singer, he meant shared, for community members to bring attention to suspicious behavior, and at what point does the attention cross the line into internet mob mentality? So this is kind of going off what we talked about earlier. You guys give your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of went over that where, you got to be very careful about this. You don't want to just gang up, let the people in charge, the people who actually have access to the correct information, figure this out, not just a bunch of people on the forum.
Do we all just agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we kind of were going over that, right? As far as bring attention to it, but like don't witch hunt about it. As far as
agreed.
Yeah.
Wurzag, with Article 13 and you, do you guys have any opinion on how big of an impact that could do to StarCraft and the recent growth of StarCraft in general? Well, we already talked about the growth of StarCraft, I guess, but he's asking about Article 13. You guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the European thing where you can't use copyrighted content or something like that?
Yep.
I'm not
So-
very familiar.
Or it's like, yeah.
It's even tougher because basically like the big problem is that it's not just about you can't use copyrighted content. It's about the fact that it will force websites like Twitch or YouTube to up their copyright detection like so
Mhm.
much there's going to be a lot of false positives probably.
Okay, a
because
lot more, even more than now. Like,
they can't give you the benefit of the doubt anymore, basically, which is what a lot of things will do. Like obviously YouTube and stuff still copyright strikes, or like Twitch will mute VODs and stuff, but they have to be so much more aggressive because of Article 13 that it's like there's going to be so many false positives. So it's going to affect more than just like, oh, well, these streamers were playing music they shouldn't have been playing. It's going to be like, oh, these people were doing things that they were completely within their rights to do. It was like a parody, or they weren't even playing other music, but someone just did like a false strike or something, and then the channel just got shut down.
yeah, I think the main issue is that like it causes the site to take the responsibility for it. So that is why it's like that kind of effect where they're not gonna they're gonna look for their best interest in the end of it all, right? So the people that are doing it legitimately, or not breaking any rules, there aren't really gonna get their voices heard when they need to like appeal it or something like that. Like they just shut them down and don't even ask questions later.
Yeah.
Just not. And that actually brings me back. I remember like it's not Article 13, but when I was doing like a couple of parodies and stuff, I know like someone big like Blizzard and someone small like me at that time, there were times where I couldn't do certain things, even if I were to remake the whole beat, because they didn't want to deal with the headache of if there was any possibility that it would get anyone's attention in that way, it wasn't worth it. And that point where like I recreated, I remember at the WCS Season 3 finals, I recreated the whole When I'm Grandmaster beat. I did it from scratch, and they still didn't want to, deal with it at all.
That
And that's
is
not
nail
like-
on head. It's that for the companies that stand to lose their entire company, like if just like a million strikes go through and then they're the ones held responsible, which is an if-then situation that doesn't even happen, because what ends up happening is they're like, here's the line of what's safe. We'll go 3 notches above that because we actually can't risk our livelihoods here. So almost no music will even be possible, but then even then some people are going to get like dinged for their StarCraft music and shit. Like, I kid you not, that kind of stuff's going to happen. And then you're going to be
That's crazy.
literally filing and being like, yo, I was literally just playing the game. They're like, sorry, here's the email, here's the person to contact, here's to get undone. 2 more though, by the way, and you'll be temp banned and they'll have to talk to somebody.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's too bad. Like, I guess everyone's gonna have to be a little bit more careful about everything then, is
If it goes through.
what it comes down to.
Right.
Yeah.
It has not gone through yet.
Like, it's gonna be annoying, but everyone should be able to get around that, right? There's going to be an influx of copyright free or easy to obtain things that you can utilize for listening, I would imagine, because
I don't
of
think
that.
it'll be the end of the world. It's just a bad step. It's
Yeah.
we fought for like net neutrality, and now there's this, and this is like constant attacks against basically what we're doing. So it's kind of
And
tough.
part of the problem, even with like copyright free music and all that stuff, like this happens on YouTube all the time. There's copyright free stuff, and then someone else, because anyone can claim like a YouTube video or something, anyone can do this. So someone will say, well, here's a copyright free song. I'm going to say that this is actually my song, and then I'm going to copyright claim all of the videos that are using that song, which I don't actually own, but I can copyright claim it because the system lets me. And even if that eventually does get undone, there's a huge period of time where those videos are just taken down. Like, there's so much damage that can happen because there's so much content you have to go through. It has to be an automated system, but there's not really a good solution to it.
Okay. Well, yeah, ending on a bit of a serious note there, but that is it for the questions. Thank you guys for submitting those. Just to reiterate one last time, for those of you on YouTube that maybe are watching towards the end, or those of you that are here, there is a change to how we take questions for this show. If you are a $5 contributor to our Patreon or more, you simply go to the website, which is https I'm not going to do that. It's the Pylon Show. It's the website is the Pylon Show. Click on that button, opens up a field, submit the question. It goes to our Discord with a bot. We read it. You get the answers. We interact. It's awesome. And soon we'll implement a $25 or higher tier where you can ask an uncapped question. It can be a big essay. It can be with examples, whatever you want. So that'll be how you get access to that. And then we also want to remind you that there's a change to how we do the VODs. So Cobra has asked for a 24-hour turnaround period of time so that he can be a human man and not do like a 10-hour Wednesday every week. So in that time, he'll get the VOD out to you on YouTube. It'll be on ArtosisTV, right? It's ArtosisTV?
That's right.
ArtosisTV is YouTube as per usual. But if you don't want to wait, there's a couple ways to get around that. You can be a sub to my channel, or you can be a $5 Cobra.
Yes,
$5 or
$5.
higher
Nice.
Patreon supporter, and within a couple of hours, you'll have access to that VOD through the Discord as well.
That'll be sent out to Patreons in an email as well if you wish.
And Patreon emails as well. So all new stuff coming, all about making this content more accessible and better for you guys. Thank you. There's also a feedback thread in there as well, and you guys have been doing a pretty good job of letting us know what you'd like to see and that kind of stuff. And Matt and crew have been doing a fantastic job of keeping tabs on that and interacting with you guys. So thank you. The show is awesome. We enjoy it every freaking week. I get nothing but good feedback from people, and we love that we get to have all these wonderful guests on here, and it's been awesome. So
Producer's note here, we have a special new Discord channel called StarCraft Resources and Community, and this is where we have posted links to join Discords, such as the core, or the top tier practice Discord servers, or the AI servers, or Banshees, etc. If you want a list of the Discords that are relevant to the StarCraft community, just join our Discord, and you can check out the list here. If you have any submissions of something you'd like to see on this list, you can submit it to me on Discord or in the support or feedback threads here. Thank you.
you guys are hearing that voice, right? Okay, because sometimes I hear voices, and I don't know who it is. No, I'm just kidding. All kinds of great stuff is happening there, so just thank you all for participating in that. Before we turn it over to giving a shout out to our guests, and we'll, of course, I think we're going to host somebody after this as well, so if you want to hang out here and watch some more StarCraft content, there's that coming your way. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors again, so please bear with me, but AFKT has been supporting the show since almost day one. Awesome. Lycan's a great guy, makes some good tea, and he's partnered with us, so we hope you support them because they are awesome and support us. If you go to Matcherino, I'm watching that number go up, and you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
We're currently doing a thing with 24-hour fitness through Matcherino, where if we can get some engagement out of you guys, there's opportunities for partnership and that kind of stuff, which is a big deal for us on the show. So hopefully you guys will help us out.
I want to mention something about
Yeah, go
Matcherino
ahead.
just real quick as well, because I mentioned this the other week also, and Matcherino is great. They really help us out. And like, for instance, the code this week, Team Tempo with a 0 at the end, we have about 700 people watching right at this second. If all 700 just go click and sign in with Twitter or Battle.net or whatever and type in Team Tempo, you know how much that helps the Pylon show?
A lot.
It's a lot.
A lot.
But
Very much
Artosis,
appreciate that, guys.
what if I've already used last week's code?
You can use this week's code now
Wow.
because it's
So
this
you
week
mean
and
that
not
I
last
can
week.
do it every single week and add a dollar every single week?
Every week. And if you're
What?
listening to this and you can't just click on it on your computer, it's matcherino.com/Pylon show. Damn, that's so easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We usually push this to you guys because it does literally support us. But in this case, please, if in the past you've just like your eyes gloss over and you've tuned me out when I start talking about this, I get it. I do the same thing, to be honest with you, with a lot of this kind of stuff. But if you believe in this content and you want to see more of it and you want to keep it around, you want it to grow, when we ask you guys to really help us with these kind of activations, we mean it. We need to see people turn it around and do awesome stuff, because if people are like, I'd like to sponsor you, but it looks like nobody gives a damn, and if we can't sell and we can't get Patreon support, and you know, I hope I don't have to doom and gloom it every time, but like, we need your help. We need the support, so please do it. And you can buy this fantastic gear that Cobra's showing here as well. There's some pretty darn cool shirts out there and fun mugs and stuff, and thank you to everyone that does that. Then we have our Patreon, which is the biggest way to support the show, and just a huge shout out to the hundreds of people that continue to do that and have done that. We really, really thank you. Please consider joining it. It might look like we're doing great. We are, but we want to do even greater. We want with each tier, we kind of reward our guests better. We have more money to reward ourselves or to put on activations, all that kind of stuff. So thank you to these people that support us at such ridiculously high and awesome tiers. And if you're at the $5 and $10, that is in my book still ridiculously awesome and amazing. So just really appreciate that, you guys. And we will continue to find ways to make this content and reward you for supporting. So thank you. Guys, that's it. And when I actually did not labor on this. This was actually a long show. I know I say that every week, but this was actually nearly a 3-hour show. So good job.
I'm surprised that we did it too. It felt light coming in today, but just good. Yes.
Heavy
good
topics.
Oh,
And we had some heavy topics.
You know,
Yeah.
we got some heavy hitters as guests, you know, and
Yeah.
heavy topics makes for a heavy show.
Damn.
Even heavier if you go to your
Speaking
24-hour fitness, man.
Oh my god. Tempo, if you're trying to get back on the show, you've done a good job. You will be. We'll have you back on. Speaking
Get
of
the Eddie
which,
Murphy.
Tempo, what are you up to, man? Can they tell them about your Twitter? Tell them about what you're doing. Where can these people follow you?
You guys can follow me at twitter.com with that code as well. Team Tempo with the 0. My Twitch is just twitch.tv/tempo with the 0. And yeah, man, just with some of the stuff we've been doing on the channel and then in the background as far as music goes, I have just made it my goal. I need to like get back into that. Like that is something that I love doing and producing that kind of content. And I love the content you guys have been doing here. Like this has been like really awesome to have the Pylon Show because, you know, I grew up in the era as well with all of the other ones inside the game, state of the game, and having that here, like, not just to like, you know, be that guy, but it is really awesome to have something every week to tune into and then to be on is really great. So
Yeah, thank you, man.
yeah, definitely. Man.
Appreciate that, buddy. Ravi, you are being super active. Where can people follow you? What are you doing, man?
Yeah, you can follow me on my channel. I'm streaming 6 to 7 days a week, doing StarCraft ladder, casting tournaments. I'm going to be casting the NA Apprentice this Friday, as we talked about in This Week in StarCraft with Tempo. And also WCS Winter coming up in about a week and a half. So we're going to be doing that. Besides that, yeah, check me out. I'm full-time in StarCraft now, so your support is also really appreciated because that is my primary form of income now. But yeah, if you have any feedback on my commentary or anything, I'm also happy to hear it. You can send that to Rotterdam08 on Twitter. And thanks for having me.
Good meme. Mr. Artosis.
You don't have to say that it's to me. You can just give the feedback.
Oh, there you go. Give him the feedback. Dan, what's up, buddy? What do you got going on?
You know, I'm just doing my regular stuff, I guess. Streaming Pylon Show each week. I got the finals of ASL this weekend, then GSL's back next week into a more normal schedule. Eventually KSL will start up, so plenty of stuff going on, but nothing too special right now. Yeah,
that's not true.
Check out my stream tomorrow.
Special.
Thanks.
And before I give my shots, I want to give a shout out as well to the people that make the show possible. I think Matt's got a screen here. Yeah, there we go. So Cobra, of course, an amazing producer. Alessander has been doing the show notes, which are extensive and incredibly detailed. Thank you very much. Alleluia is your savior in Jesus Christ. He puts the timestamps in the Vods, which I know that people just kind of like gloss over that, but I'll tell you what, we originated with not having timestamps, and you'd think I had stolen ice cream from every living person on planet Earth. So it's a huge, thankless task. It's very important.
In 2 hours or less, he's extremely crucial in this.
Yeah, Ollie is an absolute all-star, so please give him some love as well. He's a moderator of my channel. He's just a great guy. WebDevs, Diaxis, and NeosteelEnthusiast can be found at Rotterdam08 on Twitter, of course. We've got assistant graphics with Body Pop, assistant artists with Lich and Famous, animator Dark Furs. All these people, and this list is growing, by the way, just so fucking cool. And before you, let me just put this out there too. We don't even pay a lot of these people at all, and they almost never get mentioned. So please hear these names. If you see them around, give them a hug or a thank you, because this show's a big production. I know it just looks like webcams and people talking and shit, but it's not. It's aggregating all the information. It's putting things together. It's talking to Blizzard about getting on the launcher, and it's selling and talking to Maturino. It's countless things, and it's actually got more things down the pipe to make it even better. There's more graphics coming. There's videos. Cobra and crew is orchestrating and making it awesome. So it's amazing, and I hope you guys appreciate the content, because I certainly do. That being said, I'm home this weekend. It's the first weekend I'm home in like literally 2, maybe 3 months, which is ridiculous. But I am home, and I'm going to be streaming some XCOM and StarCraft 2. Warhammer 40k streams will go on as well. If you're missing any of that, some of it gets uploaded to YouTube. And then I actually do another talk show with my friend, That Bronze Girl, where we literally just talk about stuff. It's called The Deadpan Diaries. I do it on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. And this last one, we talked about flirting, and it's awesome. And if you want to sample or check it out, it's on my YouTube and Control TV. Good stuff. Guys, that's it. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week with episode 43. Enjoy WESG. Enjoy your weekend. See you all later.